Welcome to Hip Hop Talks, the only hip hop podcast that apparently needs to start giving out ghost titles because people keep biting our shit way too soon. As soon as we do it, they bite it. It's crazy. I mean, it's not even the type of biting now. Now it's the efficiency with which the biting has happened. It's like, oh, they dropping. Can I steal the idea and try to get some views off the idea before they actually get to express the idea? Matter of fact, you want to know what? Let me do like these other dudes do and keep pulling up. Never mind.
Yo,
Sean, what up? AG, what up?
Biting efficiency is crazy. It's like
okay, so some of these dudes have become like okay, so like KD and LeBron have always been great scorers. As they've gotten older, they've become more efficient scorers. See, the haters and the biters are more efficient at the hating and the biting the longer that they do the hating and the biting. They're proficient at it now. They could get a master's degree in it. AG, they might end up being a PhD, a player-hated degree. AG, a player-hated degree. Yes. They're going to have the same type of PhD as you, except it's going to be hater behind it. All right. Now that we got that out the way, how's your week? How's your week, fellas? Week's going well? Week's going well. Feel blessed. Highly favored. Peace to all.
Peace to all. Peace to all. Love is love.
Yeah. Except for these suck ass niggas. I love them at all.
Love, man. Love. Giving out love.
Oh no, it's about to be one of those. I'm tired. And I'm not tired. Like I feel very well rested actually. Been getting a lot of rest lately. Feel good. Haven't slept this well in a while, last couple of days. So ready to whoop some ass, take some names. First thing, guys, I actually got my first viral vibe in a while, and I think it's something that everybody, I think we all as hip hop heads can agree on. Fellas, you know, Westside Gunn just dropped the 12 album, right? It's called 12? 12?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I thought he said he stopped rapping. Didn't he say he retired, he stopped rapping?
Rappers lie all the time, man.
All the time.
Rap daily. They rap daily, they lie daily. Respectfully, did nobody ask you for that? We asked you for the Stove album. Yeah, I say this respectfully. Did nobody ask you for all that? Streets already decided. The indie hip hop media has already decided. We've been picking Stove. Haven't we all been picking Stove? Am I wrong?
Yeah. I mean, it's the reason why he's on like 4 or 5 tracks on the album.
Thought it was 6 or 7, but whatever.
5, yeah.
Okay. Nice little 5 piece. Okay. All right. Stop playing with us. Give us the Stove album. Okay. You guys are the guys that restored the feeling. Go ahead and let's keep that momentum going and actually give us the Stove album. I've heard a couple Lucy's here or there. Every time Westside drops now, it feels like Stove is on a quarter or a half of the album, and that's all well and good. The suppliers and the consumers have asked for the same thing.
Man, if we keeping it a buck.
Product. That's
like the gap between Reasonable Drought and now is the same distance between Damn and Mr. Morale.
Want some product?
5 years.
We're not going there.
Want some product?
But Stove did a lot of features though. Stove did a lot of features.
AG's right on track because that's actually what I was about to say. AG took the words from me because I have to be fair. See, I have to be consistent. You can't be getting on brothers for taking 5 years off for making a whole project and then not say something. Now, Stove, to his credit, has probably done about 2 albums worth of features.
Yeah.
And hooks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nobody remembers. Okay. Nobody remembers all that. Like, if you don't close the deal, you know what my favorite like football team growing up? It was like the actual early Eagles teams: Randall Cunningham, Reggie White, Jerome Brown, Keith Jackson, Keith Byers, Vasek Ahema, Eric Allen, Andre Waters. That's one of the best football teams I've ever seen. But nobody remembers that team because they didn't win the ring.
Yeah, that was a tough squad.
And they were a tough squad.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't win anything, and so nobody remembers them. And so for all these great Stove features and hooks and, you know, having us indie podcasters all on lock and having the streets on lock and all that, I mean, doesn't mean nothing if you don't culminate it with an album. So my vibe today is like to push them to actually release Stove's project this year. Like this year. Like enough of these shenanigans. We already have to deal with this with Jermaine Cole. We'll be talking about that momentarily. We already have to deal with this with Kendrick Lamar. Very problematic how y'all are behaving. Where's my Stove album?
It's not coming. I think he has a bad deal right now. He's trying to get out of. I think he has like a bad record deal right now. So I think that's hurting him from putting out material. That's why he's featured on everything. His feature run is enough for an actual album itself.
It is.
Everything he's been on. But I think he's still trying to get out that bad deal. And that's what's hurting him.
Well, he should do something about that. Okay, on the new music. Oh, actually, music anniversaries.
Check real quick.
See, I'm on my laptop right now. It's not pulling up the chat yet for some reason. Let me check.
I got it.
Yeah.
Stove got record label issues, but his plug solid. Yep.
Yeah, facts. Appreciate you, Double.
Salute, bro.
So we're going to first. We're going to first. We're going to music anniversaries. We're going with new music. What we doing?
Yeah. Music anniversaries. Let's actually start at the top. On February 23rd, 1993, Naughty by Nature released their album 1993, which obviously had the classic hip hop anthem, Hip Hop Hooray. Thoughts about the group, about the frontman Tretch, about the album, about the single, and about their place in history. AG, go.
Tretch doesn't get enough credit. He's one of hip hop's best MCs. As far as this album, it's not my favorite from them. My favorite from them is Poverty's Paradise. But this is their most commercially successful album, correct?
I don't think so. No.
Is it not? Okay.
I still feel like the first one was the most. I think the first two did comparably well. So I feel like they both went double platinum, maybe more, but I still feel like it's the first one because of OPP. That was the real.
OPP was
right.
OPP was the thing,
right? Yeah. But in the annals of hip hop, they're not talked about enough. If we're being honest, I think Naughty by Nature is heavily underrated, and timing is everything. So when they were when they were at the height of their popularity in their careers, rap kind of boomed like right after that, after they was like tailing off a little bit. So I think they're left out of a lot of conversations that they should be there. But salute to Naughty and the anniversary on 1993. And Hip Hop Hooray is forever a hip hop staple. One of the biggest anthems that we have, in hip hop period. So
where would you rank it all time as a rap song, AG? Like, is it a
top 50 rap? It's definitely it's probably hitting, it's definitely top 100. I don't know if I could put it top 50, but it would be close. Like, it would be like anywhere between 50 and 75 in that ballpark.
OPP top 50? OPP's top 50 though, right?
OPP would rank higher. Yeah.
Okay.
OPP is probably going to rank really high at the end of the day.
Yeah. It's one of those. It's one of those. Yeah, no doubt.
Sean, any thoughts about 1993?
No, I agree with AG. I like, again, Hip Hop Hooray was the one. Young Sean, 13-year-old Sean had love written on your kitten. I don't even know why. I was managed, man. Written on your kitten. And Knock 'Em Out the Box is the other one. Knock 'Em Out the Box was the other one. So
definitely human resources department at Hip Hop Talk.
So y'all didn't like Written on Your Kitten? Y'all didn't like that? So the 12-year-old wasn't liking that.
I mean, I had an overall affection for the song as a whole. I didn't necessarily hone in on the kitten part, but I can understand how Honey Pack Sean at 13 years old.
You was 12. You trying to figure yourself out. I get it.
No, I just wasn't turning the hip hop anthem into a song about sex. That's what their previous hip hop anthem actually was. That's what OPP is for. But you know,
Yeah.
excuse me for loving hip hop parade for it being like a joyful hip hop song. What the hell was I thinking? That's crazy for me.
Somebody showed Coop Digital Underground sex packets. He was like, 12-year-old Coop was like, "What's that?" Didn't know what the sex packets was.
You knocked it. You pushed it down and ran. I don't.
Yes.
I don't
See,
want
it's
it.
going to be shenanigans this evening. All right. Also on February 23rd, most of these anniversaries on February 23rd today. February 23rd, 1999, When Things Fall Apart by The Roots. My partner in crime, Andrew, and I actually just covered this on Mirror Music on Tuesday. If y'all haven't watched that show, you should. It's one of me and Andrew's best shows, kind of covering Things Fall Apart. Things Fall Apart a classic for both of you guys?
Yeah, but I kind of prefer Philadelphia Half-Life, but it's a classic. And I don't want to say too much because I want people to double back and tune into y'all's show at Mirror Music, but I'll leave it at that. They're comparable though. They're comparable albums. Both really good albums.
Yeah. Sean, classic?
No. Okay. I think this album had I think it got caught up in the second wave of Philadelphia Renaissance, because shortly after this we saw
the first wave. What's the first wave?
I think they were part of that first wave. I think you're talking about Fresh Prince, Jazzy Jeff, and again, I don't want to speak for all of Philly. I know we got some 88 Spencers out there. He can.
No. We're used to you being disrespectful. Please, just go ahead, continue.
No, I just think that Philly had a couple of renaissances going on, and it wasn't really associated with hip hop. You're talking about soul music. You're talking about like the feeling, right?
Oh, you're talking just musically, period. You're not just talking hip hop.
Okay. Period.
Yes,
And I think this album came out on the edge of that second or that third renaissance of Philly music, because now you have State Property coming right after this. I think Beans dropped later on, 99 or early 2000. When Beans dropped, I think it's 2000.
2000, yeah.
2000. So now you're talking about that new wave, that soulful music came back full circle, but with a true hip hop format. And Beans brought that forward. So they had a lot of, it's a very musical city. And I think the Roots actually play a big part in that, in the first and the second wave, maybe. But I think this album was on the actual brink of that third wave, depending on who you are or how you feel about the music out there. Shout out to Philly, though.
A lot of Philly coverage early. Cooper's waxing poetic about the Eagles. Now we got this album.
Just real quick, and I would encourage everybody to, first of all, like, share, and subscribe to our channel, but also do the same with Mirror Music. We're literally only a few people away from 2,000. That'll probably be happening during this show, or before. It'll definitely be done before the weekend's done. I'm gonna see to that personally, if not. But I'm just gonna tell you, I do feel like that this and Philadelphia Life are both classics, and if you want to hear my full thoughts on why both of those albums are rap classics to me, tune into Mirror Music. It's already up and loaded. And we're going to slide to the next classic that was actually dropped. Same day, same year. Eminem, Slim Shady LP. AG, I'm just going to be quiet and let you take it over. Go ahead. I'm not even going to ask Sean what he thinks.
Yeah, I don't want to. I'm good.
Yeah, no. Trust. We want to monetize off this show. We don't want you talking about anything.
As the resident Eminem fan, I'm gonna be honest, gentlemen. I was late to the party with him. I didn't know the history of him, being in the Rap Olympics, coming through the battle rap circuit, or none of that stuff. All I remember is that I was a senior in high school, and I worked at a fast food spot. It was a Rally's. You know what I mean? And I worked with this cat, a white cat, and he would always, we making the burgers and stuff, and he's rapping lyrics, and I'm like, yo, what are you saying? Like, what are you rapping? You know what I'm saying? I ain't heard that before. And he was like, that's that Eminem. And he was telling me about him, and I was just like, okay. And then, MTV, this is the height of the TRL, Total Request Live era. Like, once Hi, My Name Is blew up, you couldn't escape it. So I'm seeing it, and I'm like, all right, this is a gimmick. Like, you know what I mean? I thought it was just a little you know, a parody type rap, little gimmick thing, but it just kept catching so much fire. And then I'm going to work every day, and in high school, in class, people are talking about it. And I'm just like, nah, I'm not buying into it. This is going to be another, you know, Vanilla Ice thing. That's what I was subscribing to. And then everybody was saying like, nah, Dre is co-signing dude. And I'm still like, you know, Dre is just doing anything at this point to get $1 to get his second or third renaissance, as Sean just said. So I still wasn't, you know, vibing with the whole thing. And then I had another cat that was actually, you know, from Queens, like Sean, Queens Get the Money, that worked with us too. And he was in high school with us. And homie, all he used to listen to was Mobb Deep, Nas, CNN, Wu-Tang Clan. And then he came to work one day, he was like, yo, Adriel, I'm telling you, that Eminem is fire. So when he said that, and shout out to Eddie, like when he said that, I was like, okay, if he's co-signing it, it might be something to this. So, you know, the homie that originally told me about it, the white guy, he like, you know, he was like, man, sit in my car during our lunch break. He was like, you know, I'll play you the album or whatever. So he sat in his car and he played joints like Rock Bottom, you know, Bad Meets Evil and Role Model. And I was like, yo, dude is like really dope at rapping. You know what I'm saying? Putting the words together, everything. And then when I finally bought in all the way was when the single and video came out for Guilty Conscious with Dr. Dre. That was my buy-in. And after that, I went and copped the album. I was like, all right, you know, this dude is dope. He's for real. And I've been an Eminem fan ever since.
But is it a classic?
For me, my favorite album is Eminem Show, is a classic. I think Marshall Mathers is undebatable. For this one, I would say Close But No Cigar. I wouldn't call it a classic.
Okay, I would tell you that it's not close, but it's a good album.
It's a 4.25.
It's on the same level as the Black Star album, the first Black Star album. It's like that. It's like no, it's dope, and you can hear greatness, and there's some really dope moments, but it's not a hip hop classic. It's got some really dope moments.
A lot of people consider it a classic, but I personally don't. I say Eminem this is the possible. I say he has 2 in a possible.
I don't think this is possible. We're gonna give him.
This is not a.
Because I think it's barely a 4.
Really?
Yeah, it's barely a 4. Like I'll give it a 4, but it's barely a 4. All right.
Shock value.
Hey, shout out to the homie, Sean. You wanna I forgot homie's name that reached out to us from India.
Yes. I'll probably butcher his name up. Hope I don't. Pardon me if I do. Akarsh.
You will.
Yeah, Akarsh, rather Kashin. I apologize if I butchered up, but Akarsh, this was for you, man. Appreciate the
big time Eminem fan reached out to us, you know what I'm saying? And he wanted us to talk a little bit more about Eminem, and it just so happened that, you know, fell on one of the anniversaries of his album. So shout out to you and thank you for tuning in all the way from India, man. We got fans everywhere.
Yes, and we're gonna I'm gonna get Sean a vocal and speech coach because I'm going to go get my master's in international policy. And we're going to get Sean some help so he pronounces it.
Good luck.
I'm going to do all that. Going to go work for the UN. All right.
Good luck.
Yeah, it's about to be one big rap video at the UN, nigga. February 25th, 2003. Freeway released Philadelphia Freeway, guys. Is this album a classic? And what are your thoughts on this album? I'm actually kind of excited to talk about this album. This is one of those projects that I enjoy that I don't feel like enough people talk about. And it's a project that none of us, we've never really talked about this project amongst the 3 of us. So, Sean, kick us off since we didn't let you in on the Eminem conversation because
I was happy for that. Thank you.
Yeah, we didn't want you.
Such a damn hater, bro.
I'm not a hater, man.
Me and AG were actually hoping that you just would have jumped all the way out the box and just let AG ISO for a minute.
What's it going to do?
Pass AG the ball. You know, no,
it's crazy.
Okay,
I wasn't going to do it. Shout out to our cars. Philadelphia Freeway, definitely. I don't think it's not a classic, but it's knocking on the door of a classic. I don't want to just hand a classic out to it, but it's knocking on that door. I would give it like a 4.3, 4.4 before I can give it anything else. Out the gate, first 4 songs, Free, What We Do, All My Life, Flip Side. I mean, hell, On My Own with Nelly. Out the gate, he came out swinging. And just
with Petey.
Oh my goodness, the joint with Petey, the flip side with Petey. And then
the second is crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Petey Crack was one. He was one of them. He was one of them. Got derailed, but he was one of them. Line Him Up with Chris at the end, the finish.
That's my favorite song.
Again, this was part of that resurgence, that renaissance of Philly, because you got Free coming out 2003 off the heels of Jay getting ready to retire with a Black album, and you got Beans established. You got all of these things going, and they come out the gate with Free, and he delivered with this. And this is one of Just Blaze's best productions on this album. Just Blaze really laced them up on this album. He gave them some very good tracks that Free, the way Free rapped, the way he attacked the beats, this is perfect for Free. And I felt that Free was holding his weight and holding his own when he was rapping alongside Jay and Beans. When him and Beans got together, Free was giving it. He was giving it up. On What We Do, guys, I think that he probably edged both of them out. Jay had the bravado, Jay had the panache, but man, the way Free, Jay would tell him, keep going. Like Free was going crazy on that joint, man. But
I'm still going Jay though.
Huh?
I'm still going with Jay though.
Nah, man, Jay had the panache, man. He said, got to kill witnesses for Free be sticking out. I
feel like that line shut it down though.
First of all, that Sean's not about to give it to Jay.
That's true.
I just gave that to him. That's a dope line, but Free kept going.
In fairness to Sean, he is right this time.
No, man. Bullets breeze by you like Louisiana, man. That is crazy. Jay was going nuts on there, bro.
But that's Jay. That's Jay with the bravado. That's Jay with the that's who Jay is. You want to get that?
If my kid's hungry, snatch the dishes out your kitchen. I'll be wild until they pick me out of lineup.
Yeah. He was going crazy.
He's going
crazy. I ain't talking
about rap about it, wild out, fuck niggas up. I'm not trying to visit the morgue, the freeway, move out till I get my shit together, clean up my sins, freeway, get it in like 10 in the morning, and I can give it to you like 10 while you yawning, man. Still deliver the order, man. And I ain't talking about, no, that's free. Actually, hold on. This is what I'm about to say. Actually, if you actually just want to talk about a verse, it's the best verse by a Philly rap artist not named Black Thought or Beanie Siegel, actually. That's how dope that verse is. It's a movie. Like, it's better. Like, I know people play like Meek's Dreams and Nightmares. The Free's verse on What We Do is better. It is.
Yeah.
It's like that. The record is like that. And I'll tell you what, here's another thing. This album is ever better than anything anybody made on Rockefeller that wasn't a Jay-Z album, because Beanie Siegel's The Becoming didn't come out on Rockefeller. So as far as like,
it was Dame Dash.
It was Dame Dash's group. Yeah,
that's a good point. Cool.
So as far as Rockefeller projects concerned, this is actually the best Rockefeller project.
You forget about Kanye though. You forget about Kanye though.
Okay, I don't kind of look at Kanye. I look at Kanye as a Def Jam artist more than a Rockefeller artist, but I hear what you're saying.
Yeah,
I look at him as a Rockefeller producer. I look at him as a Def Jam artist, but I hear what you're saying. But I'm saying this Philadelphia Freeway album is like that it's like, to be honest with you, especially in Sean, you're right, the beginning of the album, that's as good as like the beginning to like the Blueprint and like a lot of Jay's best stuff and a lot of Siegel's best stuff. It's like that. So the record's pretty special. Yeah. All My Life with Nate Dogg's my shit.
That joint's fire. Before I get my thoughts,
Bink did that.
Before I get my thoughts, what are each of y'all's top 5 on the album? No particular order.
I'm gonna be honest with you. The first 5 records are probably my favorite 5 records.
First 5 records,
3, 4, 5. Yeah, Free.
That was a hell of a run.
All My Life, Flips. Yeah, those first 5 records.
My top 5, I got no particular order. What We Do, Flip Side, Full Effect, Turn Out the Lights. Speaking of Kanye, he did kill that beat. And Line 'Em Up. And Full Effect is a close second for me because Young Guns killed that track, man. Young Guns was like really dope at that time. But here's one thing I'll say two things I'll say about the album. All Right is probably my least favorite song on the album. And I think they dropped the ball releasing that as a single. And it should have been the joint with Mariah. You got.
You don't like All Right?
No, I don't. I skip it every time.
I think this album is solid end to end. See, I think this album is actually better than the Slim Shady LP and the Black Star album. I would give this album.
Yeah, I think it's better as well. But don't you think they dropped the ball on that with not releasing the Mariah record?
I don't think they released the Mariah record because I don't think it would have moved really enough for what his demographic looked like and the people that were gravitating towards him, and I don't think he would have been able to get Mariah. You think he would have been able to get Mariah?
But all Jay had to do was put in a call. Whether he would have or not, that's a different story.
First of all, not to be funny, but women sometimes can be flaky, and Mariah's a diva, and Mariah tell you that she's a diva. Mariah look at you, she'd be like, you know, I'm a diva, motherfucker.
Right. This is Freeway. He's at this time, he's not the A-lister.
Right. It's not Jay.
Right. That's
like
true.
if it's Jay, she might pull up for Jay. She'll pull up, like, you got to think about the time. She'll pull up for Nelly, Jay, Nas, Ja Rule, maybe. The rest of them, nah, DMX. That's it.
Yeah. But my biggest takeaway from this album doesn't have nothing itself to do with Freeway. In the 2020s, my top 5 producer list changed because Hit Boy moved into my top 5 favorite, not necessarily best, but in my top 5 favorite producers ever. When he did the Nas, Magic and KD runs, and then everything else he was doing, you know, with Benny and, you know, Big Sean, whoever, you know, he moved into my top 5. That spot before was occupied by Just Blaze, which I always considered like more of an album and placement producer. And the reason why I had to knock him down to the 6th spot was because he didn't have that classic, as Coop says, in the end player where he was at the helm of a full album. Before the Saigon album came out, this is what we had as the most evidence because, you know, you had Jay Blueprint and so on, but that's just like a few tracks here and there, like 3 or 4 songs. He produced, Just Blaze produced 10 out of the 16 tracks on here.
Yes.
So he was really the person behind crafting this album and making it what it was. But, you know, the other people that I have in my top 5, they have albums, you know, that they crafted that were classics from front to back, whether it be RZA, Premier, Dre, Kanye, and Hit Boy. So
I'm about to say, so you can even go to Hit. So, I mean, there's nothing against Philadelphia Freeway, but, well, I think at least 3 of the 6 Nas and Hit Boy projects are better than Philadelphia Freeway. At least 3.
Yeah, that's fair.
At least 3, probably 4, maybe 5.
Yeah. But I think this is Just Blaze's best submission as far as doing a bulk of a project, because this is all we had to go off of prior to. I think he did majority of Bleak's Made album, which was a solid effort. And then, of course, the Saigon album, he did all that.
I feel like he's one of those guys. He's not going to make my top 10 list, but I could see. I mean, Just is going to be Just for me is a top 25 producer. Yeah. And if he's not top 25, he's like really, really close outside the top 25. And people need to understand is that hip hop has grown. People need to understand hip hop has grown so much that considered being a top 25 producer is a honor.
Oh, major.
Pleasure.
Major. And that's not objective placement. That was just, he's number 6 on my favorite list for like, if I want to hear somebody's beats. Just Blaze is number 6 on that list for me.
Yeah. So I mean, some people from our generation got to understand that it's like not 1995. And so that like the gauge is different. It's like, oh no, we're 30 years past that. And so some of this stuff should resonate different to you when we make a top 25 list, because the volume of people that have come in now, like the fact that somebody like a DJ Premier, a Dr. Dre, and a RZA are still holding so well is very, very remarkable. You get what I'm saying? Like, you got to think about it. Outside of really, because I feel like Dilla kind of came somewhere in the middle. Outside of Kanye, if you were to make your all, and maybe Hit, if you have Hit in your top 10, there hasn't been a all-time great rap producer that's actually come out in the 2000s. If you're talking like top 10 all time, unless you think Metro is top 10, or unless you think Hit is top 10, because Kanye and Dilla are before 2000 in terms of beats. You get what I'm saying?
And even if you tried to put Pharrell in there, That's just prior to 2K.
Super Thug's 98.
Yeah.
Super Thug is 98. It's 2 years before 2000.
Yeah.
Same thing with Timbaland.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're talking about like how some of this stuff is holding, that's what I mean. Like I'm holding some of this stuff high. Well, how about this? Preem and RZA and Dre, they haven't had a Steph, LeBron, or KD come along like Mike and Magic and Bird have. Like they haven't had guys come along that have actually been comparable. If you really want to know the truth, that's what's been different about hip hop. Is it like, well, this crop of guys haven't even made it conversational. At least LeBron, KD, and Steph have made it conversational. Like,
and let's be real, we're in an era where the people don't care about the producer that much anymore because, like, in our era, we was ripping the packaging off the CD, like Jay-Z said on Volume 3, and rushing to look at the credits at who did what. In the streaming era, really nobody cares about who produced what song, if we're being honest.
I think you know what hip hop is really missing. I mean, we don't want to sidebar too far. We got to get back to it. Hip hop is really missing its impactful moments now, and we have to learn how to create those impactful moments in this genre. I think because and listen to what I'm saying when I say this. Like, no, like the punk rock bands of like the 80s and the big hair, that was an impactful thing. Nirvana and the grunge, that was an impactful thing. But rock and roll had been going on for 50 years. You feel what I'm saying? We need to have a way to like have those impactful moments. That's actually what we're missing at this stage in the game. We're not missing the talent. I still feel like the talent is there. We're missing the impactful moments. The game's not as impactful as it used to be. Like I can remember reading the excerpt from Jay's book when he was talking about, hearing Who Shot You for the first time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And how hearing Who Shot You made Jay feel like as a rapper. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, we're missing that, and that's where, and we're kind of going to get into this when we go into our Mobb Deep and OutKast thing. Some of these records are just meant to are impactful because they inspire, not because they were necessarily big hits. It's not because they were big hits. They were so inspirational and so motivational. Like where did Shook One's Part 2 even make it number one on the rap charts? Like damn overall chart. Did Shook One's Part 2 even make it number one on the rap charts?
Nah, that's why putting that in the hip hop argument is tricky because some of the greatest classics of all time are not commercial successes.
Yeah, like think about that. It's like, well, I mean, shit. For some people, that's a top 20 rap song.
Right.
It didn't even make the top of the rap charts when it came out, but the impact of it, the impact of Prodigy's verse, the impact of the beat, the impact of the hook, the impact of the representation of East Coast hardcore hip hop. Yeah. Like the representation of all those things impact the game.
Yeah, it permeated through our whole culture. It just didn't break through beyond that.
I think it did because I think the modern day East Coast hip hop that we listen to is mostly Mobb Deep inspired. Am I wrong?
No, that would be accurate. I mean, Griselda is heavily
Mobb Deep inspired. We're going to talk about this. Like, we might think that Wu-Tang is the greatest group ever, but they're also the hardest group to emulate ever. So more people have actually taken up to emulating Mobb style and sound because, well, it's more rooted in one style because, well, it's just mostly built around.
It's not as abstract.
It's built around Prodigy as opposed to being built around 9 to fucking 20 guys. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, new music, guys. J. Cole. cLOUDs. Yeah. Sean, you want to start off Wax Poetic? Actually, AG go. Huh? Never mind. I asked Sean to start off on a J. Cole topic. That was a mistake.
We should push that to the Freddie joint. That's a Lucy. I think that's a better.
You want to push it back?
Yeah, to the Discord dialogue segment. We'll push that back.
Yeah. Do y'all want to talk about the Ransom and Dave East project? Final call?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Early thoughts about the project. AG, run it.
I actually really like the project. But here's the thing. I was really nervous.
Watch mirror music in the background while I step away.
Like Kendrick said, turn the TV off, Coop. The album, I was nervous about it, right? Because both MCs are very monotone, you know? and I was initially thinking that the album was going to come off boring, but I think both MCs are better served with another MC, so they have somebody to, you know, contrast their own voice. Even though both of them are kind of monotone in their delivery, it's still somewhat of a contrast. Like if you go back and look at Dave East's Beloved with Styles, that contrast helps Davies. If you go back and look at Chaos is My Ladder with Ransom and Conway, and then Coupe de Gras with Rome Streets and Ransom, those things help Ransom versus listening to Ransom for a whole project or listening to Davies for a whole project. So these two together, although similar in monotone voice, I think the contrast works well. I liked a lot of the production on here. The features was dope. You know what I'm saying? I had Meth on here, J Electronica. Overall, I thought it was a solid project.
Yeah, I agree. I like Audubon kicking off. I like the concept of Audubon. It's bittersweet. It's kind of bittersweet though, because the story, right? You're living through the lens of Malcolm X and what happened, the tragedy of that situation. And I felt like that was Dave East, probably one of his better records, better songs on his joint, his better verses. I feel like Ransom came to play. You know, he's well read. He knows.
You're right, Sean.
Yeah,
spot on.
He came with
Sean,
it.
Ransom not playing on here.
Not playing on it at all. And I think Dave East tried to keep up. And that's no disrespect to Dave East at all. And I don't think he was able to keep up because Ransom was in such a pocket as if he was trying to prove something, and he proved it. Because on every track, he was just in a certain pocket, man. You could tell the confidence was there. He's well read. He knows what's going on. He knows his scriptures. He was bobbing, and it was effortlessly. Whereas I feel like Dave East was kind of muscling his way through it, if that makes sense. Like he's muscling his rhymes through it, right?
You said the scriptures, Sean. Can you talk about that? The heavy 5%er theme throughout the album.
That he was doing effortlessly. He was doing it. Like you think about the way Dave East was trying to pull it off, you didn't know where he was towing. But Ransom, you can tell that he's well read. He knows what he's talking about. You be getting J Electronica on there. J Electronica sounded a little bit out of place with it. Like he was Jay going overboard. And it made me ask myself the question: do you look at J Electronica or Killah Priest? Which one is a higher caliber? And I would probably give it to Killah Priest.
Don't do that. Don't make me do that, man.
Cool. You rocking with me? Killah Priest?
I love Killah Priest, man, but
J Electronica?
J Elect, bro. I don't know, bro.
Okay.
That's a dope conversation, though.
It's one of the more fascinating questions that I've been posed with in the past year. I will tell you that. But here's what I'm going to submit to you. On Mirror Music, I talked about De La Soul and how De La Soul does a lot of the same things his Tribe does, but they're not as entertaining as Tribe. And that's what I would tell you about Killah Priest and J Electronica. J Electronica make that shit sound more wavy than Killah Priest do, even if Killah Priest is more fundamentally sound at it, very much like De La and Tribe. And so I would still tell you that it's Elect because of that, because the box office and the star power like matters, because it elevates it, it separates, like the voice and in the star power and the impact is really what separates that that gifted and talented group AG, no matter how they're parsed out. Well, whether you're gifted or whether you're talented, when you do those few things, well, you become iconic.
Yeah, and I love Killah Priest, but he don't have an Exhibit C.
I don't think you need it.
He doesn't have some of the cachet and feng shui that, you know what I'm saying, that Elect has. You know what I'm saying? He don't got it.
True.
Like, he's not trying to have it, and he's not trying to have it, and that's
because he can pull it off. He can pull it off. We've seen it.
I like this sidebar. This is random as hell, but I like it.
No, it's a great sidebar. Andrew, if you're watching, chop this shit up. According
to them, couldn't do that.
Heavy. Okay, if we're doing this sidebar thing, like as far as the 5%er theme throughout the album,
I would like to get my actual review of the album after the sidebar, though.
Oh, my bad. I just want to ask both y'all a question.
No. Finish the sidebar. It's a good sidebar.
For a 5%er theme like collab album, y'all got this or a written testimony with Jay and J Elect? Speaking of J Elect,
this.
Cool.
More digestible.
I need to hear this more because I really actually enjoyed a written testimony. And I'm probably partial to a written testimony because me doing an article review about written testimony is because how I ended up in this space. So I'm probably a little bit subconsciously partial to that album.
That's right.
So that's actually an album that's not fair to ask me about. My whole podcasting career is pretty much based on something that I wrote about that album. And so I'm probably not the fair assessment to ask. I am partial to that album, which anniversary is about to celebrate a 5-year anniversary. And I know because I wrote the review that got me podcasting about it almost 5 years ago. Yeah.
Fair enough. Right. I'm taking a written testimony, though.
My early thoughts are a written testimony, but that's why I'm telling you I'm biased and I'd like to listen to the Ransom project more. But that brings me the Ransom and Dave East project. That was actually a Freudian slip. Sean, here's where I agree with you. This feels like Ransom's project more than Dave's East project. He grabbed this project and he did what he wanted with it. I don't think I've ever heard him flex on a project like this before, vocally and flow wise. I'm with you. Audubon Ballroom is probably Dave East's shining moment on here. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's the first rap song I heard this year that has 2 verse of the year contenders on it. And I still think it's probably the best song on this project. And if you start off your album with the best song on your project and you're trying to get people to pay attention to your project, that's what you're supposed to do. So job well done. Not only on them executing on the song, but also giving it its appropriate placement at the top, to give people the buy-in. Not only that, the song selection, and when I mean song selection, I mean the actual names of the songs being selected, has been to try to tie together a theme after Audubon Ballroom.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to give you points for that. Those are stylistic and conceptual points that we used to give artists from our era that they're executing because they actually, for the most part, now they did not fit into the theme all the way well, a la A Reasonable Doubt or a Cuban Links, but they did fit into the theme enough, and the song titles were dope enough, and the production reflected the song titles, if you noticed, enough that I'm going to give them some bonus points for that. That means they thought about this, guys, and them thinking about it made me think that part of the reason why these albums that we hear today don't get all-time classic status is because they don't take all-time time to actually put the whole song together. I mean, we're doing, and I'm gonna tell you where that comes from. We're about to do this OutKast Mobb Deep thing. So I've been listening to OutKast and Mobb Deep for the last 3 days straight, right?
Mm-hmm.
These songs are so full and so finished, guys.
Yeah.
I was listening to Nighttime Vultures today, and it's Havoc's on there doing little stuff in the background with the ad-libs. Prodigy's ad-libbing and freestyling at the end of the record. The beats doing certain stuff.
Yes.
The vultures are actually making the bird chirping noise at the beginning of the song before the beat drop. They put the whole record together, guys.
Yeah.
Whole record. They didn't just hear a dope beat and then come up with a concept and rap over a dope beat. They did all of that and then they put the record together. It's no. We don't need to just drop the beat. The vultures, the song called Nighttime Vultures, it got to sound like vultures is actually circling around in the background before the beat drop. It's the intricacies of it. I'm listening to Aquemini today, guys, and I'm like, man, they literally put every song together intricately from beginning to end. Everything's intentional about the album. And I can only say that the only reason that it's happening, people think that it's the talent. I think it's the time. Because when I listen to Ransom and Dave East on this project, because Ransom's great throughout this project, Dave East got progressively better throughout this project.
He did.
Because he needed time to catch his wind, because this project was actually pretty well thought out and probably thought out by Ransom. And he probably wanted Dave East riding shotgun on it, to help bring it some more cohesion and to give it the concept a little bit of a different sound. Probably what Ray was thinking when he was making the Purple Tape, and he's like, no, I could probably use Ghost to give it a little bit. I could use a little oomph. You know what I'm saying? And so I see it. Mayhem, the Mayhem record. Oh, Ransom zoned out on there, guys.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of his better moments as an MC. I was like, that's Ransom rapping like that?
Yeah.
He was in a pocket. He was in
in all the pockets. Soul Food and Mecca.
Yeah. And don't forget about Meth.
Okay, so guys, The meth verse on By Any Means is the verse of the year right now.
Man,
That boy's blazing features
No,
left and right.
no. I'm gonna go ahead and say it again, Andrew, you the new cut creator, man. All right, because you about to have to chop this up too. The meth verse on By Any Means Necessary. That's the verse of the year right now, guys.
listen, man.
The verse of the year. It's not a verse. It's the verse of the year right now. It's the best rap verse I heard this year. You got a better verse?
Meth's rapping like he's trying to get a deal.
You got a better verse? He rapping like Def Jam never gave him a deal.
Right.
He rapping like he's not part of Wu-Tang Clan, guys. You understand that? It's like I need to get in a crew. It's like he's rapping like he needs to get in a crew. He's the front man for the greatest rap group of all time, and he's rapping like he needs to get in a crew. It's the verse of the year.
Big time. What I want to speak to real quick, that both of you said, I'm not mad at Dave East for having to ride shotgun on this album, The Ransom. Ransom was killing it. If you remember, I said a couple episodes ago when we was talking about collab albums and how they function the best, one person has to take the reins. And, that's kind of what this is.
Ransom. It's Ransom, and it's wonderful. And people that think that it sounds better than the Ransom and the Kanye, that's in the Conway, that's because it does.
It does.
It is better. It does. It does. By the first 5 records, it's like the first 5 records are better than the Ransom and the Conway project.
But this pairing, the contrast, it. Like I said, I would rather hear this project than any of their solo projects, Dave East or Ransom. Because that contrast gives it a little bit more of a different flow for the album.
I'll tell you what I thought about this project in the end. First of all, I thought this project started off really strong and tailed off a little bit at the end. Some of the beats and the themes got a little repetitive to me at the end, although I still felt like the songs were solid throughout. But I'm going to give this album a 4, guys.
Do you think it'll have a lot of replay value, a lot of staying power?
Ooh, I'm going to tell you what. That depends on what they do with a couple of records. First of all, Mayhem and the Al Kabir Beach. Depends on what they do with those 2 records. Because those 2 records need visual aids. And the fact that they actually got a meth joint, they should probably do that too. But the Mayhem and the Al Kabir Beach are must-haves. And that's some of Ransom's finest moments of MCing, because we all know Ransom has the bars. He executed style points and swag points and delivery and inflection. Ransom was pausing and taking his time and catching the beat, guys, instead of weaving in and out. He never does that. I'm going to tell you somebody that used to weave in and out that learned to pause, and then they switched their whole flow up, and they're in the all-time great MC conversation. Common.
Yeah.
Common used to rap nonstop, and then Common started finding his pace and his space on the beat. And then something happened between One Day It'll All Make Sense and Like Water for Chocolate, and he found his pocket and he found his timing, and he's been pretty much brilliant as an MC timing-wise ever since. And I felt like Ransom found a couple pockets on this album. It's like, oh, shit. That's one of those things where you can hear a guy that's been doing the work.
That's what I was saying exactly about I Am God on this current project. That pocket work was
we know
different.
I Am God been doing the work. Look here, we know I Am God been doing the work. Look here, since it'll be 5 years that I've been doing pods and shit. Literally in about 2.5 weeks since I've been doing this. There are 3 people that I did not know about before I started doing this that I've known about, and I think that they're all great. That's Stove, who we've talked about, I Am God, who you just brought up, and Armin, who's plugged the Scott storage. Since I've been doing this for 5 years, those are the 3 people that I didn't know about that I know about now, and I'm so glad I know about all 3 of them. But Stove, the only one that ain't dropped a couple of projects.
Got to get Stove on here.
Man, we gotta get Stove in the studio. I want West Side and Stove to hear this shit right now. Hope they hear it right now. LT, go and tell them. Go and tell them, LT.
Yo, shout out to LT, bro.
LT, man.
That's right. Everybody getting put on blast this year. Nobody's safe. I want my solo album. I'm playing with you niggas no more. Been waiting for this shit for 5. No, for real. We've been waiting 5 years for real. Here's how they need to look at it. Do you think Havoc and P would make us wait 5 years for our album?
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay. Do you think they make us wait this long for our album? Do you think Beanie Siegel would make us wait this long for our album? Prison and, vocal issues and that. You know what I'm saying? You think the Locks is a group? Like, think about this. We never went no 5-year gap without like really hearing like a Locks project, like some sort of mixtape, some sort of joint, some sort of shoot off, some sort of camp, like some
Record
sort
label. It's the record label. It's the record label. Some of that night is fault.
man,
And we got super chat. Super chat.
man, fuck these labels. I see that super chat. That's Mad Max. Sean, that's Mad Max. That's not a real super chat. I know you're not in here telling me J Electronica coming through your thermometer. Shaolin Bada, Big Bong better than Killah Priest.
Yo, man, this dude is a.
See, I told you. See, I told you it's not a real super chat. I told you it's not a real super chat. It's just Mad Max. Let's finish the super chat. I said this on Haters Ball. Haters Ball let you on. Haters Ball, y'all stop that. Haters Ball is 3 brothers on YouTube. Y'all should subscribe to Haters Ball. I love Haters Ball. Haters Ball are some of the original followers. J-Elect, a Kufi wearing Meek, reuses the same bars. He's a Kufi wearing Meek. You see what happened when you let Mad Max in the chat?
Max is wild, man.
Mad Max, you must have got done watching that whack ass show, Max. You got done with the whack show and you came over here. Came over here to get some real hip hop. You're like, damn, you're like, I just got done watching that bullshit for a couple of hours. No, this is what happened with Mad Max tonight. Mad Max, like, I just got done watching that weak ass bullshit for a couple of hours, but I still don't have my fix. You can just come to the real. Stop getting that watered down product. You know, take it from somebody that's been to Columbia. The product's been stepped on. Product's been stepped on in the okay? Some of these niggas' product been stepped on, okay?
Let's move forward, man. Let's talk about
Infinity,
stop
man.
Mad Max, stop stepping with these stepped on niggas, okay? They've been stepped on. They've been stepped on. You can't sell
Infinity.
that.
Well, continue to talk for Infinity. The Infinity album.
You can't sell that. Okay. On to the next album. 4 is for Ransom and Davies. Good project. Smif and Wessun, Infinity.
Yes.
Sean, I mean, you're from New York. I mean, y'all go first.
You didn't like this?
Did you like it?
This album's tough, man.
It's a solid album, cool. I love the features on this album more than anything else. I'll be honest with you. The features,
okay, that would be, say it again. So what is this album without the features?
No, I love the features on the album. I think they complement Smif and Wessun very well. They even give your boys a shout out. They said they were there when OutKast was named the best duo in '95. They talked about that.
I heard that.
It may be, I want to ask y'all that question. With them, are they in your top 25 or top 50 or anything for duos?
I mean, it ain't even that many, I would say. So they would have to be in the top 25 by default.
You think so? Top 25 by default?
I don't think it's like 50 duo groups out there.
Oh, you said duo or just groups?
Duos.
I thought he said duos.
I said duos. Let's go duos. Let's go duos.
Top 25 as far as duos, yeah, they're probably going to make your top 25 duos. They're not going to make your top 25 groups.
How about top 10?
Duo?
Yeah.
UGK, 8 Ball and MJG, OutKast, Mobb Deep,
EP, Rock and CL.
P-Rock, CL Smooth, Coogee Rap, DJ Polo, Eric B. Rakim.
Yeah, there's no way.
CNN.
Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah.
Staying on.
Who?
Migos. I mean, not Migos. It's 3 of them.
Field Mob.
No,
I put them above.
No. They're above Field Mob.
Yeah. Nice and Smooth, Kid and Play, Showbiz and AG.
They're not above Showbiz and AG to me.
No.
Yeah. Although The Shining is better than
MOP. God, how we gonna forget MOP? That's crazy.
MOP's better. Yeah.
Yo, that's wild. We need our hip hop stars with both. Going that long without saying MOP.
I just played Firing Squad like about 3 months ago too.
DOS Effects.
They're better than DOS Effects to me.
Longevity.
What I will say is I rock with this album better than the Davies and the Ransom.
If you're looking for a true boom bap,
I was feeling this album a little more.
This is it. It's a true boom bap album, honestly.
That Medina with Pharaoh Monch. Tough.
Ooh.
The joint
Okay.
with that black Eminem with P.
Oh, how about this? Organized Confusion. Are they better than Organized Confusion? Since we've been in a pharaoh.
Neck and neck.
I think so.
Okay.
Sean
That Moses Promise.
Yeah.
No, it's like, so the album is dope, but the album's only going to be dope to us.
Right. It's not going to do it's not going to have legs. I'm be honest with you. We may not
But
talk.
I think the
That's
production
what I'm
is what
saying.
gets it over. Like,
okay, there we go, Sean. It's not that I don't like the album. It's when I listen to the album, it's like I don't see the legs. I don't hear the legs. Yeah.
But I rock with the production more than on the Dave East and Ransom project. I think the production is better.
The production is definitely good.
Is the production better? Or is the production the type of production you prefer to hear?
It's the production. Yeah, it's the production you prefer to hear, but also the production that they needed. They can't go outside.
How about this? It's easier to fit a production for a group that is together and has been together the way that they've been together than it is to do production.
Fair point.
For a Dave East and a Ransom. That's what I mean. Is like, if you're telling me the projects are comparable, it's like, well, the new shit was harder to pull off, is what I'm saying.
You have to tip your hat to them. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the new it was harder for Ransom and Dave East to make a project of that caliber at the drop of a dime together than it is for Tech and Steel. You know what I mean?
Fair enough. And we left out Coop's favorite duo, Black Star. We left them out too.
Okay, they don't count. They don't count. Right?
Yes.
It should be like a 3-album buy-in to the duo shit. How about that? Right.
They one short.
Both of y'all got quiet. It's wild. It's wild how you got quiet. Sean's not even looking at me. He's like, I'm not going to acknowledge that.
The whole reason
Sean's
why
like,
I
I'm not
said it
going to
was
acknowledge
to
that.
set you off.
Sean's like, I got to go to New York. I'm not going to acknowledge that at all that he said that. I'm just going to keep on down. Mad Max with the 199 super chat. I'm watching both because I can do what I want. I'm a lion. Yeah, you're a lion. Them niggas be lying. Y'all deserve each other. You a lion? No. He's a lion. Them niggas be lying and they suck. You deserve each other. Keep watching. Nigga, ain't nobody stopping you from watching.
Yo. Man, that's loony.
I'm a lion.
I'm a lion.
And he probably, when you get done,
camera.
When you get done, when you get done watching,
that's why I just got through watching Game of Thrones or something. We call ourselves a lion. It's crazy.
Who says that?
Look here. And
he probably did this when he said lion. He probably did this.
Not the hand, not the whole hand, not the hand, not with the claw. Oh shit! Look here, Mad Max. Nobody's mad at you, man. When you get done watching the Golden Girls, sometimes you got to cut the wire on.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you need to come Sometimes you need to fuck with Avon and fucking Bart. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you need to come fuck with Avon and Stringer after you get done fucking with Dorothy and fucking Blanche. You know what I'm saying? I understand.
Boy, crazy, man.
Top out. I don't know what is on your TV in the background, bro. Like, this shit's wild.
That's Andrew.
I just saw the guitar waving, man. That shit.
It's Andrew. It's Mirror Music, man. We got a whole channel, man. Building a whole network.
Andrew,
we gonna do this matchup or what?
I'm gonna run these views up. I'm gonna run these views up one step at a time. All right. This is a business model. It's ridiculous.
Let's get the Wu-Tang final tour, and let's get it.
Yeah, forgot about that.
Hold up, Max, real quick. He wanted to justify his thug.
Oh my God, Sean. I mean, I walked through Simba block like Avon Stringer and Weebay, and then Simba looking for Mufasa for backup. See, Mad Max been drinking.
I don't even understand. I don't know.
No. Those are Ghostface bars. These are Ghostface super chats, okay? These are Supreme Clientele super chats. Jordan jumped up like Clyde Drexler. Like, no, these are Supreme Clientele. These are Supreme Clientele super chats. Mad Max. All right. So Wu-Tang Clan is about to go on their final tour with Run the Jewels as the opening act. Guys, we're going. Where are we going? How are we going? When we going? Are you excited? Are you disappointed? I'm going to be honest with you. When they said this was their final tour, it made me very sad.
Very sad. Very sad. Very sad. This one, this hurts.
But imagine how hard it is to get all of them together to commit to that. Because if you remember the last tour with Nas, the New York State of Mind tour, Method Man had the obligations, for his acting role in Power Book 2 or whatever. So he couldn't, come. He couldn't hit all the tour dates. So
He
it's
showed
like,
up for some
I
dates, though.
understand it. It's disappointing, but I understand it.
I think realistically, hold on. You have to look at this realistically. We've been doing this show. There are 3 of us. We've been doing this show together for about, 9 months now?
Something like that.
We've been in the same room together one time for one day.
It's a fact.
Think of and most of these guys are about 7 to 12 years older than us, some a little bit older. Think about how hard it is to get us in a room, and think about now multiply who we are by 3 or 4, and then multiply the notoriety and the lifestyle and the obligations, and then understand how truly hard it is. This is what's okay. So what was always so brilliant about them is that everybody from the jump, when they first walked in the door, asked, how the fuck are they about to make this work? There's too many of them.
Yeah.
And so they have made it work for what is 2020. Dude, they have made it work for 32 years, guys. It is probably the greatest feat in hip hop history that isn't talked about. The fact that these guys are still talking to each other.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, so people need to understand the gravity of this. It's like the fact that Method Man had prior obligations and still found a way to wiggle around the obligations to show up for 3 or 4 tour dates.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, that's different. People don't understand how hard it is to ride shotgun with somebody for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. Go listen to CL Smooth talk about him and Pete Rock. Go listen to Eric and Parrish talk about each other. Havoc and Pete broke up right in front of us, and we didn't even know and never said anything. These are duos that I'm talking about that couldn't get along. Bobby Brown, as soon as somebody told Bobby Brown was a star, he's like, I'm leaving these fuck niggas.
And shout out to EPMD. We left them off our list too, man. I can't believe that.
No, I brought up EPMD. I said EPMD.
Oh, you did? You said EPMD? Okay.
Yeah, I said EPMD.
But you're right, too.
And so the most special part about this is like, oh no, you kept a group of about 10 to 15 niggas together for 30 years? It's almost hard for us to keep duos together for 5 years.
Yep.
That's the real measuring stick. The fact that they have the greatest catalog, like the fact that 7 or 8 of the 50 best rap albums come out of this camp is ancillary to the fact that the actual camp is still touring together 32 years later. Like, it's amazing. Niggas have, like these niggas ain't shot each other, stabbed each other, whooped each other ass. Like, I'm not joking. I'm being serious. Like, these shit be going on tour.
They not just a group though. They family for real. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, so I want to go because I want to celebrate because we're never gonna see this again. No. Like they are the one thing in hip hop that I know we're never gonna see again. It's like, no, Nas popping up showed us that no, you can get you another Rakim. You can get you another KRS-One. You can get you another Cool G Rap. You might not get another Tupac. But you definitely not getting another Wu-Tang Clan. It'll never happen again. It'll never happen again. A band of brothers won't come together like this and care about the hip hop and the love of it and the love of each other over the money first long enough to make it happen.
Period again. More or less a group with 9 to 10 members.
But think about it. You know how much you got to care about the craft and care about like each other for a guy that's living in your hood to tell you, so check this out. We're going to do this group album, but I'm going to get everybody a solo deal and everybody going to be rich. Look at him. Like, tell this nigga stop lying.
Yeah,
like
sounds
that's
crazy.
What you know what I'm saying? Think about RZA's playing and how that sounds to somebody like in 1991. I'm gonna put together a team of guys. I'm gonna get the best MCs from my hood, and I'm gonna put together a group album, and then after that, I'm gonna make sure everybody has a solo album so everybody can eat. That shit, that had never happened before in rap.
Because he's a genius, innovative.
Not represented well enough.
No,
not well enough.
No. Changed the whole landscape of music in hip hop.
to everything. And
The
I don't know
loud deal is unprecedented.
unprecedented. Unprecedented.
Wu-Tang forever. I don't care if they don't tour. It's Wu-Tang forever.
Wu-Tang forever.
Let's really framework this, right? Since we're here. If we're talking about the impact and what it really did for the culture, how groups was able to come into the game and sign a record deal and then get solo deals to the labels of their choice, this is about as groundbreaking as like Jordan wearing getting the signature shoe with Nike, and then ball players after Jordan now can get their deals, you know what I'm saying, to have their own shoe. Because before that, the Converse All-Star, the Converse Weapons was just, the team colors, the Lakers and the Celtics, nobody had this signature shoe until Jordan came along and got that. This? So it really changed the landscape of that, just like Jordan did for athletes to be able to have their signature shoe. But nobody talks about Wu-Tang doing that.
No, nobody talks about it because it was so seamless. AG, think about this. Rappers coming from groups didn't have solo deals until Method Man got a deal with Def Jam. When Method Man got a deal with Def Jam, like Method Man signed to Def Jam, that didn't happen.
All right.
That didn't happen. You didn't rap with a crew and then a year later have a solo record deal.
Right. Unless you left the group.
Yeah.
No, think about it. No. A rapper never had that before. No rapper left a group and got some sort of solo rap deal with a major label that got notarized. That had never happened before. Method Man's the first guy of his kind.
Because Busta was after that, correct?
No, Leaders of the New School broke up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I said. Unless you left the group, you know what I'm saying? Then you got
according to, man, people, everybody keep talking like he left the group, but I've heard people say, well, he got kicked out of the group. And
I've heard both stories.
And judging from the behavior, got kicked out of the group. And so got a solo deal and has literally talked about in acceptance speeches how, like, no, was a guest artist.
They broke up live on Yo MTV Raps or something crazy like that. It was like live in real time.
That was nasty.
Yeah.
That was nasty. And shout out to 007 with the super chat. These queens get the money. Wu-Tang, MSG, 71625. Come through. It might be the one, fellas.
The Garden gonna be crazy.
Garden gonna be crazy. That might be the one. I'm not going front.
Going to the Garden?
NYC.
Can I just say one? Nah.
My Madison Square Garden legend.
This sound the tough guy.
Who said that?
Man, ain't nobody worried about Ron.
I'm not going to deal with it.
Appreciate
that, guys.
So what you got to say, Sean, about that RZA clip? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, we going to Madison Square Garden? We going to the Garden? Like, what we doing?
Might be the one, man. That might be the one.
That's the one. Shit, I just ain't getting on no plane no time soon. Them shit's falling out the sky. Like, just different.
Garden? I mean, we need to make a decision soon. Tickets on sale in like.
Yeah, we're playing. Behind the scenes.
I don't like sitting in bad seats. That's why I'm saying, like, I don't.
Oh, you can still get any seat you want. This is what you're willing to pay.
No, I imagine Wu-Tang in Madison Square Garden, guys. That is going to sell. That's going to sell.
It'll be joints. See when the MSG date is.
7/16.
7/16.
June 17th.
July
17th. Gotcha.
16. All right. Let me go ahead and put you and Sean in the body bag before we get out of here today.
Real quick before we go to the verses, I wanted Sean to talk about the that clip that leaked out. It didn't leak, but Art of Dialogue posted it with RZA. What he had to say about that ban, the 10-year ban of the Wu-Tang, how it affected the trajectory of music.
What are you talking about? The radio shit?
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to get your thoughts on this too, Coop. Because they had that 10-year ban in Hot 97, and basically what RZA was saying, alluding to, that really hurt New York hip hop because you're not playing Wu in the peak of their powers. And so that gave room for a lot of the Southern acts to break through New York at the time. So the sister radio stations or the competitor radio stations, they were following suit to Hot 97, playing the down south acts because they wasn't playing their own. And that's how the South got to break through and really take the crown in that moment, because, you know, Hot 97 wasn't champion one of their own, you know, biggest and brightest acts. So he's kind of crediting that band for the permeation of the South to really take over hip hop at that time. Some people have been saying online that he's hating, but I can see where he's coming from. You know what I mean? Because if you look at that time, you know, when Wu-Tang was on top, like, who was really dominant in New York after that? Like, you know, because the band was 10 years. So if you go in the latter part of those years, you got Jay, you got Nas, you got X, you got Ja Rule, and then 50 came through. But after 50, it was nothing really outside of Dipset that was really bubbling in New York like that.
I think this is a great conversation to have because you have a ATLian and a New Yorker. So, who going first, ATL or New York?
ATL.
Go ahead, cool. You got
it. Gentlemen.
Okay, so I don't know if hating is the right word, gentlemen, but when people down here in the South feel disrespected, if there is some truth into what RZA is saying, and I do feel there is some truth to it, and I'm going to speak to it. What you were doing also when you were making a statement like that is you were being submissive to the quality of music that is being made down here at the time. Okay? I'm not joking. If you take Wu-Tang out of the equation in the mid-90s, in hip-hop, East Coast hip-hop lore, you're left with Big Nas, Deep, and Mobb for the most part. And that's not a slouch thing. In Jay, of course, Jay's coming along. And so you're not like left with the cupboard being bare. But guys, we're down here. We got Scarface, we got Goody Mob, we got OutKast, we got 3-6 Mafia, we got UGK, we got 8 Ball and MJG. You get what I'm saying? Like
that was prime time when No Limit and Cash Money was like breaking through. Right after
No
that,
Limit and
97.
Cash Money are on the precipice of coming through. I'm saying like let's kind of keep it. Let's keep it Wu peak. So let's keep it 95, 96. Let's keep it.
The
Wu
band
peak
didn't
95.
happen until 97. So
well, no. But I'm talking about the music in terms of like because most of their classic stuff that he's talking about that didn't get played. It's like, well, the problem isn't the stuff up until that point. The problem is that what Hot 97 did is that they cut their most classic group's water off at the time where the South was making its best Southern classics. And so what they really did is they offered an opportunity for New Yorkers to hear classic Southern rap. See, the stuff that you're hearing now isn't as good as the stuff that they were hearing then, but right around the time they're banning Wu-Tang, well, you got to think about that. They're banning Wu-Tang in 97. ATLians is 96. Quimini is 98, guys.
Yeah. But you don't smite your own to get exposure to.
No.
Listen
to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying is part of why it happened is because the South had quality enough records to fill the gap. They didn't have a Wu-Tang Clan, but that's why I'm saying, oh no. See, Wu-Tang Clan got 9 members, right? 8 Ball and MJG, 2, UGK, 4, OutKast, 6, Goody Mob, 8, 3-6 Mafia. They got about they Wu-Tang South. There's 2 core members, but there's about 6 or 7 other guys floating around. There was enough great music to fill the gap. And so he's only explaining one part of the story. He's explaining the part of it where they got cut off. He's not explaining the fact that there was quality music coming from the camps out of here in the South to fill the gap. Now, it may have taken those groups in bulk to fill the gap, but the quality was there to fill the gap. There is a Soul Food, there is a AT-Aliens, there is a Quimini, there is Coming Out Hard, there is The Diary, there's all of Scarface's projects through the 90s. And so, AG, when you're talking about cutting off their nose and smite their face, it's like, yeah, they did it, but they did it at their own expense, not realizing how much quality hip-hop the South had to offer. He's not saying it. He's not saying it with the caveat, but the South really did have dope shit, and that's why they were able to put it on lock. He's not acknowledging that part, and him not acknowledging that part is where it comes off like, oh, well, you just hating on the South when you're doing that.
Yeah, but even in you explaining in that way, like, you know, if you cut off somebody else's water in your own, you know, home just to give it to somebody else, that's, you know, that's the whole point of it all.
Like, think about this.
They
Think about
spited
this.
their own.
Think about this. In New York, and New Yorkers need to take note of this and forever remember this. It's criminal that the Purple Tape doesn't have Doggy Style type numbers. It's criminal. It's a failure. It's a failure by the New York fan base that the Purple Tape didn't sell 5 million records. It has every, like, when I look at the Purple Tape and Doggy Style, it's like, no, the Purple Tape is Doggy Style East.
Well, I'm glad you're talking numbers
because at least 3 million records. At least 3 million records.
I'm glad you're talking numbers because I want to say this, and then Sean piggyback off my point, because we was talking behind the scenes, and Wu-Tang is at their height, their absolute peak in '97. And Coop, I know you hate on the Pillage album all the time by Capadonna, but think about how much at their peak they have to be for Kappa to be the first solo album out of the gate after Forever. The band is in full effect, one. Number two, RZA takes a step back in production duties and doesn't do that whole album. 2. 3, you don't have your partners in rhyme, Ray and Ghost, standing next to you on every track like you did. You know, you was the person riding in the back seat while Ray was riding shotgun on Iron Man. So you had it for Dolo, and then you still come out of that and you sell gold. That and fourth, he's the 10th member of the clan. He's low man on the totem pole, right? And he still goes gold despite all those things, because the Wu was a household name in '97. That all that stuff was in play and in effect, and he still went gold. Now imagine if they don't have the band, because the band wasn't just for the group. The band affected all the solo members as well.
But this is what I'm saying.
And the offshoot groups.
No, this is what Hot 97 did, though. Nothing Mary's I'll Be There For You. Is that Diamond yet? Because it should be. And I'm pretty certain if Hot 97 would have played it the way that they should have, it'd be Diamond already. You get what I'm saying? I don't think it's Diamond yet, which is criminal. It's criminal that 50 is getting records from Get Rich or Die Trying, and I'll Be There For You is almost 8 to 10 years older than most of those records. And that album and that record's not Diamond. That's what Hot 97 did. It's criminal that Tikal's not double platinum. Only Built for Cuban Links isn't quadruple platinum. Return to the 36 Chambers and Liquid Swords should both be at least platinum and a bear. You get what I'm saying?
That was RZA's point. RZA said that Wu-Tang Forever would have went diamond and still did 5 million.
No,
still did 5.
So when he's talking about the criminology that was inflicted upon his crew, he is right. What he is failing to understand is that they felt okay inflicting it because they were very well aware. It's like, oh, no. We got other music to fill your gap. And
what you got, Sean?
I agree. It all everything happened at one time, and it collapsed everything. New York radio heard Wu at their zenith. The music probably wasn't the best after Wu-Tang Forever at that first run, but also it's hard to say that because if it wasn't even don't do that, cool. If it wasn't even playing in the, I told AG this before.
You want to know what?
When we consume music in the club, it sounds different than it riding your car.
Hold on, Sean. We need to admit something. Wu-Tang Forever might not be like that, guys.
No, it's like
no, it's not. No, it's not.
No, you're bugging.
No, y'all are bugging. Because here's the reality of the matter. Here's the reality of the matter. For whatever you say, if y'all were doing their 20 best songs, understand that a 13-track album would have 10 of the 20, and a 27-track album would probably only have another 5 or 6. So tell me how it's like that then.
It's like that, cool. Don't do that.
No,
It's
no.
my favorite album of all time, bro. I'm not doing this with you.
Hold on. Hold on. Just because it's your favorite album of all time doesn't mean that my claim isn't valid, though.
No, I didn't say it's the best, but it's still my favorite. You know what I'm saying? The album is very much like that.
But we're being objective here. You know what I'm saying? Like Southern Playalistic Cadillac Music is my favorite OutKast album. I know Aquemini is better. So like objectively speaking is what we are talking when we were talking these things. And maybe the problem is that Wu-Tang Forever ain't like that. What's so memorable about the album outside of the Triumph video to the general populace that's not in the bars like we are?
Cool. You heard the reunited?
No, I'm asking you. I'm asking you a legitimate question. When people talk about Wu-Tang Forever, what do they talk about outside of Inspector Deck's verse in the Triumph video? People who are not heads, the general rap populace, the same people who bought All Eyes on Me and Life After Death, like those people. They don't hold Wu-Tang Forever like that. Is it like that?
It's yours.
Those people are dumb.
It's yours.
You can't call those people dumb just because they
They
don't
are.
like
They really are.
It's yours. I'm sorry, guys. It's yours. Probably wouldn't make it's yours. Probably wouldn't make book one of All Eyes on Me or Life After Death. That's what I'm saying. It wouldn't make book one. It wouldn't make book one of either of those albums, guys. It wouldn't.
We come back.
Definitely wouldn't make book one of Life After Death.
Time for this.
It's yours.
It's yours. Bugging on this one.
It's yours isn't good enough for book one of Life After Death, guys.
Man, Reunited is one of the most iconic Wu songs of all time. Impossible is crazy. One of the best Wu songs of all time.
MGM.
You talking about no.
MGM might be the best Ray and Ghost combo song.
MGM is my favorite song on Wu-Tang Forever. Objectively, I would tell you that's not one of their 20 best rap songs, guys. I love the MGM more than y'all do. It's my favorite Ray and Ghost moment, actually. I love Ray and Ghost on the MGM more than I love them on any of the projects on any of their solo albums. And objectively, I will tell you, no, that's not good enough.
Let's table that one for another debate.
Y'all talking like Wu-Tang Forever, some sort of 5-mic album. It's not, guys.
You never said a 5-mic album, but you sound like it's a 3-mic album. That's how you talking. You talking like it's a 3-mic album. Don't do that.
It's closer to me. How about this? It's closer to a 4 than it is a 5.
It's 5 mics to me. For every skip you can pull out of Wu-Tang Forever, I can pull the same amount of skips off All Eyes on Me or Life After Death.
Easy.
No, you can't. Those are lies. Both of y'all are full of shit. No, that's not true. Hold on, Wu-Tang Forever. Wu-Tang Forever is not in the same conversation with All Eyes on Me and Life After Death. And if you think you are, you're wrong.
All Eyes on Me fall off in the second disc.
I mean, first of all, hold on. You can talk about that second disc all you want to. Everything that I got on the first disc smokes almost everything on Wu-Tang Forever.
But see, here you go, like doctoring up shit. You act like the second disc don't exist.
No. This is what I mean.
Do the same thing with Wu's first disc.
Guys, some classics are built differently. Some classics have classic lyricism, classic beats, classic songs, and big moments, and do all the records. That's All Eyes on Me. Wu-Tang Forever is not that. Life After Death is that.
You just described Wu-Tang Forever. Lyrics.
No, I described All Eyes on Me.
You just described Wu-Tang Forever.
But here's what you do, Cool. You always just reference the first disc.
Wu-Tang Forever sell versus All Eyes on Me?
Say it again.
What did One Man sell versus 9? On a double album?
Come on, cool. This is
no. You want to split the hairs? What? Hold on. 9 guys sold 2 million and 1 guy sold 5.
What Styles P say? You know, 10 rappers get better promotion.
First of all, hold on. The 5 was live.
It didn't go a full 5 while he was alive. It did. I mean, he died some months later. It wasn't a full 5 mil yet.
We're not doing this. Let's move on.
Hold on.
Man.
The previous project did more numbers than Wu-Tang Forever. Me Against the World sold more than Wu-Tang Forever. And that was a solo project, guys.
That wasn't before it was like double platinum, and it did like 3 more million after he passed, Coop.
Oh, hold on. No. Hold on. Me Against the World did 3 million while he was alive, sir.
No, it was double. It was double. It did the other ones.
No. While alive, it was double while he was in prison. It was 3 million while he was alive.
That's still not more than Forever, Coop.
How much did Forever sell?
5.
5? When? 5. Over like total?
Being blackballed.
Hold on. 5 total?
Yes, with being
they were being blackballed by Hot 97. They weren't being blackballed by the industry, Sean. They're being blackballed by their local radio
It's
station.
a 10-year ban. See, this is what I hate when niggas do this shit, because niggas want to argue shit and not put it in proper context. They were banned for 10 years and they whole fucking radio station.
Hold on. You niggas not putting shit in proper context. Tell me how many classic songs is really on a 27-track rap album.
Let's keep it to your original argument. It's a 10-year ban. That means the radio is not playing it. That means you're not getting that extra bump. You're not getting anything.
It's an inverse. Like, while Pac got more,
that's why I'm talking about the
fodder.
Quality of the record, guys.
Pac and Big were more martyrs and legends. Their ascension is going to go here. Wu-Tang is going to go here because it was a fan.
No, listen to what I'm saying. That's why I'm not having a numbers conversation with you.
Man, ban this nigga from the concert, man. Like,
no. I mean, first of all, unlike you two guys, I was actually at the Garden for the big show. Show me if you want to pull up. You know what I'm saying? Stop talking that shit. Stop talking that shit and pull up. Stop talking that shit and pull up. Both of y'all. Let's talk facts right quick. Y'all want to talk numbers? Let's stop talking numbers. Let's talk about how many classic rap songs. Stop talking that shit and answer my question. How many classic rap songs on 27? It's a 27 rap track album. How many classic rap songs are on the 27 songs? According to you guys,
6 or 7.
Classic. 7 out of 27. Thank you. You're making my point. If 7 out of 27 songs are classic, and you're talking about All Eyes on Me and Life After Death, what the fuck are y'all smoking?
They got about the same. You talk about all-time classic songs.
Let's move on.
Hold on. First of all, you could argue there are people that think that the first 7 songs on Life After Death and All Eyes on Me are classic. You understand that, right?
So you
as far as most people feel like the first 7 songs on Life After Death and All Eyes on Me are classic, period. And you're giving me 7 out of 27. We don't have to have a numbers conversation, guys. The fucking quality's not there, and you need to accept it.
It's not even 27 real songs. Like 5 of them shits is like intros where niggas just talking to Keitha singing. Like, you know what I mean? You down to like 22 because you could eliminate 5 off the top. You got the Wu Revolution. You got the outro with Rick Swan.
You pick the date. You pick the date and the station head. Y'all can pick the Biggie or the Tupac album. I will smoke Wu-Tang forever.
We about to fade your ass with Mobb Deep right now.
What Mobb Deep got to do with Wu-Tang Forever versus All Eyes on Me or Life After Death? Which y'all
we can pull it back to back.
No, you said that was comparable. And let's be clear. I'm the one that came on this podcast and said that Mobb Deep would beat OutKast. Stop acting like you're doing some special shit, AG. I just literally said last week that Mobb Deep would probably win 13-8. I'm taking OutKast because I'm from the South, but I literally said last week objectively that Mobb Deep should win based on a hip hop format. So stop making it seem like you're doing special shit. And next time you niggas want to pull up with this Wu-Tang Forever shit versus Life After Death or All Eyes on Me, I'm going to smoke you with either album. And apparently every other rap nigga who knows they shit knows this. You're not beating the Wu-Tang.
Who's going to trail off this one, All Eyes on Me? And then you go trail off, you go fall off a cliff.
Nigga, the shit on All Eyes on Me, book 1 is enough to beat you. You don't have 13 classic songs on Wu-Tang Forever. You don't even have 10.
They don't have 13 classic songs on the first.
There are 10 classic records on book 1. There aren't 10 classic records between book 1 and 2 of Wu-Tang Forever.
You're absolutely right. Let's go to the you're right. Because you moved the goalpost to the basketball court to the hockey piece. So that
no, didn't nobody move nothing. You want to talk numbers? All Eyes on Me. If you want to talk numbers, All Eyes on Me and Life After Death is better. And if you want to talk music is better, ain't shit moving. Ain't shit moving. Any way you want to move, Wu-Tang Forever on its best day is third.
You're talking about 2 rappers that were martyrs right after the albums dropped. Bro.
I'm talking about the quality of the music too, guys. I said we can talk sales or quality. It's not a conversation. It's not.
Right on. Wu-Tang, right on.
Y'all are wild.
Mobb Deep versus OutKast. That goalpost is all over the place.
You think Impossible? You think Impossible fucking with like 10 Crack Commandments or Kicking the Door? Or America's Most Wanted? It's not.
How many mics you give Wu-Tang Forever, Coop? How many mics you give?
4. I've always said the run. Guys, if you don't pay attention, I always talk about their run, and I always say to Iron Man, I don't include Wu-Tang Forever in the run because it's not a classic. It's a 4-mic album.
That's wild.
The beat, shall we? Let's go with the verses, right?
Pick the station head date. Y'all pick Pac or Big. It don't even matter which rap album you
I ain't
pick.
picking shit. Let's go to this verses.
Right. Oh, we know y'all can't pick shit. You just picked Wu-Tang Forever and thought it was comparable to Big or Pac shit. We know y'all don't know shit today.
Moving on, man.
Finish cool.
Yeah.
I'm actually cool.
27-track rap album with 7 classic rap songs. Y'all trying to compare it to Life After Death and All Eyes on Me. Niggas is smoking.
Nigga, shut up. Can we move on? Damn.
No, nigga, y'all niggas shut up with that weak ass shit. Nigga, stop standing over Wu-Tang and be objective for once in your fucking life. How about that?
I am objective.
Shut up, nigga.
That's a
No, nigga, don't
5-point
be
album.
pulling up
4.5
don't be
at the
pulling up.
worst.
Don't be pulling up and telling me to shut up. I'm not your fucking kid, AG.
What the nigga? Shut up. Like I said it like
let's move on, man.
gosh.
Shit.
Yeah,
Damn,
keep
niggas
talking, man.
Shit. Are we gonna do this or what, man?
Tell Coop to get back on so we can like run this versus real quick. Since he said that he already given us the belt.
I don't even know. Anyhow, Wu-Tang forever smoking everybody's boots. I don't care what. Shit.
Like you don't know when to stop, man. We've been trying to move on.
And trying to move on. So what we gonna do? What we gonna do? We're gonna
Man, let's take it to the I guess we ain't doing the Mobb Deep OutKast thing. But the reason why we was gonna do this because Twitter was on fire this week comparing Mobb Deep and OutKast catalog. So what we originally had planned was to do a little impo like versus, you know what I'm saying, 20 track for track joints. And OutKast versus Mobb Deep, see who came out on top. So me and Sean was going to take Mobb Deep, and Coop was going to take OutKast to represent ATL. But as he said here, that he said a couple shows ago that OutKast would lose. Is that what he said? 13-8.
Yeah.
The Mobb Deep, which would be 21 songs. But let's do the here nor there. But so we'll go on. But I guess we ain't doing that now. But we'll move on to the next topic, which would be we going to J. Cole versus the Gibbs.
Yeah.
Right,
First
let's
of all,
talk about.
Go ahead.
Let's talk about the clouds first.
Yeah, he killed it. I mean, this is who he is. We know who he is. We know who J. Cole is. This is not a secret. This is not like he's not a rapper's rapper. This is what he do. Second verse, he left Earth. We know that, right? First verse, he's ramping up. Second verse, he's leaving Earth. This is who he is. This is what he is. I think the crazy thing is, when you think about Cole and you think about the position that he kind of put himself in, now you're in a tough spot because, or if you're going to rap and you're going to say certain things, you're going to speak that bravado. We talked about this before. We talked about this in the past. We said, now, where does he go as an artist? Does he continue to talk like he's the big boy, or does he continue to talk like he has, there's some big gloves that he can go at anybody? If he's going to talk that kind of talk, then he has to be able to back it up, right? And we saw in real time that he actually pulled back. He pulled back from being that guy that was actually competing with that big three because he was part of that big three. So now when he's talking bravado and he's talking about taking out MCs or taking about rappers or whatever, you're going to have some backlash from that. But he still is Cole, regardless of what. He's still Cole. He's still one of them. He's still one of the dopest MCs that's out there, regardless. It ain't nothing you can do about it. And I think at the end of the day, you gotta respect him for who he is. You gotta respect him for that. And cLOUDs is just showing you that he is one of them, regardless of what he did in hip hop. I know it's unforgivable because we talked about it. I didn't like it. I hated the fact that.
Is it though? Is it unforgivable? Or does time heal, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that?
I think time
and good music.
Time heals, but it's an unforgivable thing when you're thinking about hip hop, because in hip hop it's a combat sport. Right. You know what I mean? It's a combat sport. So when you're talking about, it's a contact sport. So when you're talking about getting into the ring and you're saying you're the best, and you say that I'm better than this rapper, or I'm taking rappers out, but then you bow out of a battle, they're going to judge you for that. They're going to judge you for that. And there's nothing else you can do about that. It's going to always follow him. He's going to have to honestly drop more than amazing album. And even with that, people are going to still have something to say. They're going to still say, we know he can do that. So why did he back out? It's going to always go back to that. It's unfortunate, but it's going to follow him. It's really going to follow him.
Yeah, but I mean, this should be evidence that he has it in him to make that album that will quiet a lot of those naysayers. You know what I mean? Because like you said, he's rapping on the highest of levels. I wasn't really a fan of the beat on this track, but the rapping, man, what he's doing lyrically on here and in the flow pocket is crazy work, man. It's insane. And you know, and the stuff he's talking about, like subject matter, like talking about AI and, you know, Cole, when he gets in his you know, thought-provoking reflective bag, he's you know, that's his wheelhouse. You know what I mean? And he's not talking to you know, I'll smoke every rapper, you know what I'm saying, who I do a feature with. He's not talking that no more. He's getting back into his, like, you know, just reflecting and stuff. And I think if he keeps it there, you know what I mean, and shoots straight down the middle, I think he'll be all right. You know what I mean? Because if he's displaying this level of rapping on his album, then his album's going to be a problem. But my worry is more so about who he gets for the production, you know, because I wasn't a fan of the production on this that much. But,
yes,
you know, it had little elements, had the little Wiz Khalifa laugh in there and different things. And, you know, it was a dope track. But my whole thing is, I'm tired of the appetizers or the warm-ups or, you know, whatever to get ready for the album. He's been promoting this album for years. Like, at this point, you just got to drop the album and stand on that, whatever it is. Like, because when you record over such a long period of time, you have stuff that may be stellar, but it's old. So it's like stale to you now. So he might shelve that and then keep creating, and you're never going to get the product that you want to put out to the public. At some point, you got to, like, with that baby you've created, you got to, like, live with it and, you know, give birth to it, right? So I think he's just messing himself up by prolonging it longer and longer, unless he's just waiting for this tidal wave that was Kendrick Lamar to get totally out of the way.
I think, is this a warm up for the album? Is this just a ramp up?
I mean, it seems that way. It seems that way.
Okay. Seems
like it's part of the rollout. But then we had the podcast. We had the garden show. Yeah. We had the Port Antonio was kind of like just reflecting on his, you know, where he stood with the whole battle thing or whatever. But I mean, he's been promoting the fall off for like way too long. At this point, you got to drop it.
The more you do things like this, and the longer you go through this whole process of just promoting it and dropping loosies that we are talking about, it's going to put more pressure on the album. Yeah. It's going to put more pressure on the album. Because like you said, all of the ramp up started at the back half of last year, off the heels of arguably one of the biggest battles that we've seen, right? And he came into the new year dropping loosies and telling us that it's still coming. And that's the crazy thing about it, because now he's in a position where he got to deliver. He's in a really interesting space, man, because you got people like Freddie Gibbs going at him now, right? Doing sneak disses. And I'll be honest with you, AG, I know you and Coop, you guys are big fans of Freddie, more than I am. But I think Freddie is I think he's a dangerous person to get in the ring with at this point, if I'm J. Cole. I think he's a little bit dangerous.
Joe Budden was talking on his podcast that J. Cole's eventually going to have to come outside and make an example out of somebody, regardless of if he didn't want to get into the ring with Kendrick. He has to, like, you know, pick somebody and you got to fight that person. You know what I'm saying? You got to make an example of somebody. And that might be Gibbs for him. You know what I mean? And with all this talk with you know, with Freddie Gibbs sending his little shots or whatever, our Discord dialogues this week is centered around both of their discographies. We put it in our Discord chat, and it wasn't the obvious question like who's the better rapper, anything based on legacy or whatever. We know the answer to that already. So we're compartmentalizing this question. So what we asked is, just far as discography is concerned, the projects that they put out, who has the strongest discography? And an overwhelming 67% in the Discord, which are Discord members, there's about 100 people in there, the vote was for Freddie Gibbs, 67%. And I thought that was a lot more lopsided than what I would think it would be. But me personally, I think that Gibbs has the better discography. Is he a better rapper than Cole? No. Does he rank higher all time than Cole? Hell no. You know, but as far as like putting together, you know, cohesive projects that's like, you know, 4.5, 5 mics, I think he's got that mastered a little bit better than what Cole does.
Do you want to see a Cole and Freddie battle though? That's the crazy thing. Do you want to see that?
I don't.
Because I don't think Cole could win either way. Because they'll say, why you punching down to Freddie? Because again, Freddie was not looked at.
You think that would be punching down?
I'm saying from the overall trajectory of it, right?
Yeah, from his status in the game.
From his status, right? Because you're talking about Freddie, who was never mentioned in the big three. He was never mentioned in the top 5, and never mentioned even in the top 10. So it's not like he's punching down to someone that's not lyrically inclined. He's punching down to someone who wasn't mentioned in those higher, you know, those higher names.
Jay-Z still dedicated a whole song to Cameron.
Yeah, but you got to think about just, you know, the bite pause that Cam had. And that didn't really do much for Jay. That wasn't one of those.
No, it didn't. I'm just saying the principle of it. Like,
yeah. You know, and Cam is Cam. Cam is going to disrespect. And at the end of the day with Freddie is very witty. He can probably get some things off. But again, I just don't know if that would be the right move for Cole. But at the same time, if you're Cole, what are you going to do? Because you're going to have others that may feel the same way. You know what I'm saying? Others may feel like, yo, I can go at him too. I can do this and I can do that. And those may not be nowhere close to where Cole legacy is at this point. As great as Freddie, as consistent as Freddie's catalog is, and I know some people would say his catalog is a little bit better than Cole's catalog, he doesn't have the legacy that Cole has.
Right.
That's a separator. That's a separator. When the legacy is not there and you're going legacy to legacy, it's pale in comparison. And if Cole goes into that room, even if he pulls even, AG, even if it's close, Cole's not going to win.
And people are going to hold it against him like, oh, you'll get in the ring with him, but you didn't against Kendrick. So it don't even matter.
You apologize to the boogeyman, but you ready to get in the ring with Freddie Gibbs. That's the narrative. Unfortunately, that's the narrative. And you know, Freddie and others.
There's a lot of material there for Cole. We'll just say that.
It is, but Freddie, he leans into it. He embraces it.
He does.
He's dangerous. As I'm saying, he's dangerous. He's gonna be like, yeah, you can call me that, and he'll make a rhyme about it. He'll lean into it. That makes him very dangerous. Right. If I'm Cole, and people got to start playing with Cole name, man. It's too much. It's too much second guessing Cole. We never second guessed Cole before.
Right. And that, and if I'm being honest, the main reason why I don't want to see a battle is because I don't want Cole distracted. I just want the album to stand on its own merits and him not have to be worried about addressing Kendrick, addressing Drake, addressing Freddie, or addressing anything. Just focus on putting out a dope project and then stand on that. And once we'll judge that for what it is. You know what I mean? So that's the main reason why I don't want to see the battle between these two. You don't need any distractions. Like you said with Ross and the whole Kendrick and Drake, thing, like he was just putting his 2 cents in, and he was a distraction from, Drake focusing on Kendrick or whatever. So I don't want Cole distracted, man. I want him to really put out a quality product. And I don't by the unwritten rules of hip hop, the apology still stands as like a major blemish on his career. You know what I mean? But I've moved on past that now. You know what I mean? If we just got to be objective as rap fans. Like if we can move on from certain things, like Drake with the ghostwriting stuff and the Quit Miller stuff, you know what I mean? And people moved on from that and still rock with his music, then just like that, we should be able to move on with Cole. Is it still a little bit fresh? Yeah. And maybe that's why he's taking so long. Maybe he's waiting for all that to kind of, those feelings to kind of die down a little bit before he releases his project, because he wants it to be a new slate for himself, so to speak.
Yeah. I hope that he can regain momentum. I think he still has a little bit of it left. I just don't know, man. I just don't know if the audience is going to give him that shot. That's my biggest concern. I just don't know if the audience is going to give him a shot, man. That's
right.
Hip hop can be unforgiving. Hip hop doesn't, it's hard, man. Once you take a fall like that, hip hop won't let you forget. We're the only genre that holds that against, our artists, our legends. And
that's a fact.
That's a tough spot to be in for Cole, because I still think that Cole is one of them. I still think that he's one of the greatest ones of his generation, of his era. He checks all the boxes in this era, and that's the crazy thing. And you got to give him respect. I don't like to see this stuff on Twitter and on social media and other platforms talking about Cole like very ill of Cole, because it puts him in a bad spot, man. It really does. It really does. But he also got to put himself out of that too. If you're gonna do clouds, you got to get back into your Cole bag. Get into the bag that people champion you for as well. Don't dwell on that beef no more. Don't dwell on what you should have done or what you couldn't have done, what you could have done. Go back into your bag. Go into the place that people championed you in the beginning. Don't say I'm a killer MC, or I can kill this person to kill that person on the mic.
Nah, he can't do that no more.
He's too talented for that. He don't have to lean into that anymore. He doesn't have to. Not right now, anyhow. It's too early.
No, he was. Yeah, don't do that anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't have to do that.
But yeah, since we here though, we talking about comparison of their discographies, man. Excuse me, I don't want to pump fake the fans. So let's at least talk about Mobb Deep's discography versus OutKast discography a little bit. Let's get into that.
Yeah. We may get a chance to circle back to the battle at some point.
And it might be better suited for Station Head anyway. But I think this was an interesting discussion as groups go. I have a hard time comparing. I separate groups from duos. We just got through, Coop ran off a bunch of duos in hip hop when we was talking about Smif and Wessun. So
I'm sorry, bro. We got all the super chats. I almost forgot.
Oh, okay.
007, cold is cold, but forever in my eyes, never be number one. Be the number one. That's fair.
Okay.
My mere thoughts. If you run home from a fight in the hood at any age, nobody forgets it. J. Cole, gotta wear that jacket forever. It's true. It'll follow you. It'll follow you. All right, sorry about that, bro. I just saw.
No, you did. Real quick, I forgot about something before we go on to Mobb Deep and OutKast. Somebody put on Twitter, shout out to, I think it was Days Mentality. Shout out to you if you watch the show, bro. He put on Twitter something that I can't get out of my head, man. He said that that J. Cole was like Jason Tatum, dead nice but no aura. I was like, damn, that's like kind of harsh, but it's truth to that, right? You know what I mean? It's like, even though Cole's a superstar, right? I've always preferred Cole out of the big three. He's, tried and true, like MC, like a rapper's rapper. Cole was my guy. You know what I mean? That's why I didn't have no dog in the fight with the Kendrick and Drake battle, was because I was looking to see what Cole was going to do, because he was my favorite. Between Kendrick and Drake, I was like neutral, like whatever. But out of the three of them, he just is, he still has an it factor, but it's to a lesser degree of what Drake and Kendrick have. But if you ask me who's the nicest MC out of the three of them, I think Cole is the nicest MC easily. I think Kendrick is the better artist,
Mm-hmm.
but Cole is the nicer MC. What do you got to say to that?
Pound for pound, I think he is. Pound for pound, I think he is. But again, we talk about legacy versus legacy, legend versus legend. All of those things play so much of a factor in today's hip hop. I mean, it always plays a factor in hip hop and in music in general. You know, your legacy is your legacy, what you built, what you created. And once you start getting into that conversation and you're pulling heads, you're pulling straws, it's a matter of who you prefer the most. You know, honestly, I don't think there's a wrong answer to either one. I really don't. I really, really don't. But if you ask me for my palette, what I like, I go Cole.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But Mobb Deep and OutKast, man,
Yeah.
two of the best discographies in hip hop, if you ask me.
Yes, consistent, very consistent out the gate. There's not too many groups has that kind of consistency on both sides.
Right.
As both groups kind of continue to like go down that path in their discography, it kind of waned a little bit. It waned a little bit on both sides because they started, you know, kind of getting away from the thing that made them successful.
Right.
You know what I mean? And when you start being more creative as an artist, sometimes the fans don't follow along with you. And I think that's kind of what happened with both.
Yeah, OutKast pushed the bounds of creativity the most between the two of them. But I think both groups have I think both groups have 3 classic records in a row. Mobb Deep with the infamous Hell on Earth and Murder Music, and then OutKast with Southern Playalistic, AT Aliens, and Aquemini. I think that goes without saying. Even a diehard OutKast fan, I don't think would say that Stankonia is a classic, but it's their most successful commercial album, you know. So that kind of that's a, you know what I mean, that that's heavy. That adds a lot of weight on their side of the scale when comparing them to Mobb Deep, because by the time Mobb Deep gets to infamy, they're kind of tailing off a little bit, you know what I mean? But
it's the sound. It's the sound.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, just talking about the 2 stars of the group, Andre 3000 and Prodigy, you know, when they were both approaching their zenith in 96 going into 97, those 2 were we talked about this behind the scenes, those 2 were in a lot of hip hop conversations outside of the usual suspects of, like, you know, Pac, Nas, Big, Jay on the rise. Like, a lot of people were putting, you know, Prodigy in their top 5s. A lot of people were putting Andre just outside of their top 5s then for their rhyming ability. So, you know, those 2 MCs were, you know, top tier. And then their rhyme partners, I don't think Big Boy gets enough credit, you know, rhyming alongside Andre, nor do I think Havoc gets enough credit, because I think a lot of times people just look at Havoc as the producer. But, you know, it's a lot of songs out there where I feel like Havoc got Prodigy, you know?
I agree. I was listening to a lot hold on, we got another super chat. We got on Mad Max. Mad Max, left my ass off. Mobb Deep is far superior to OutKast, not Tribe, De La, or Wu either. Cast has too many poppy music for Mobb. 3 to 6. What does Cast? 3-6 what does Cast off. Damn it. But does Cast if Cast don't pick the right joints, and P got more quotables. Mad Max is a wild
He
man.
has a lot of quotables. Man.
He has a lot of quotables. I think here's the thing. Cast, they push the music boundary to the limits. And that's why their catalog got a chance to expand, you know, across boundaries. It wasn't local anymore. It wasn't just for one genre. When it started reaching other genres of music, that put Cast in a whole different stratosphere. And it sounded weird in the beginning, like you hear Bombers of Baghdad in the very beginning, like, what is this? Like, it was just all over the place. But I could tell you, I was in Japan when it came out, and it was going bonkers over there, bonkers. And you can tell that the sonics, the aesthetics of the sounds and everything were just changing the guard, because music at that time, instruments at that time became more ubiquitous across hip hop, because there was no more boom bap. It started transitioning into more melody, transitioning to more live instrumentation. We just talked about Just Blaze not too long ago. Now you have more of a louder sound than you had more of a hollow sound, if you will, versus the hollow sound of hip hop. And I do think that with Mobb Deep, again, Queens get the money all day, right? I still feel like it's one of those things where Mobb Deep sound was one of the architects of the golden era of New York hip hop, and probably hip hop in general. You had the G-Funk era that was established as one of the architects, of course, of the West Coast sound in the early 90s. But then you're talking about what ushered in that New York sound, and Mobb Deep sound, Havoc's production, Alchemist production, that whole wheelhouse, Q-Tip, all of that was an architect to the sound of hip hop. So we hold it very dear to us, but it never progressed past the 2000s. You see what I'm saying? Whereas OutKast was able to progress even past that, because they kept pushing the envelope when it came to their sound. And because of that, they became more of a crossover to different genres than staying pigeonholed into the hardcore hip hop.
Right. And then, Oh, go ahead, bro.
No. I'm saying it's changed everything for them.
Yeah, and when I was looking at the matchups for if we was going to do the song verses, that's what kind of make it a little bit difficult, right? Because to your point, Mobb pretty much stayed in the same wheelhouse. OutKast was everywhere, all over the place. They was hitting, different types of music, a lot of soul, a lot of funk, even, boom bap, down, like they was hitting a lot of different pockets with their songs, even, crossing over to the pop crowd. So matching up a lot of the songs is difficult, because Mobb Deep, you know what you're going to get. You know what I mean? It's like no frills, but still yet they two of the greatest duos we ever had. That B2, number one, number two, as far as duos are concerned, regardless of what order you have them in, I think they're the number one and number two duos that we have in hip hop.
Agreed. Your Mad Max, I see your chat, your super chat. We appreciate you, man. In a nutshell, Mad Max is saying that something about the Sahara. I don't even know what's going on here, but Mad Max, we got you, man. We appreciate you, man.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Mad Max is wild, man. Mad Max is
wild. But yo, real quick, man, I really like it when you talk about your stories when you was over in Japan, because I use that as kind of like a litmus test for how popping something was and how much reach it had. Like if you was over there and it was like hitting you over there, you know what I mean? Then that's like a big expansive type of reach. You know what I mean? That's like some next level stuff. So
absolutely, because again, I can acknowledge that. Like I told you, being overseas, Japan, Australia, wherever, I can acknowledge in the early 2000s where the DJ would do a dedicated New York set. It was like a dedicated New York set, and Mobb Deep was part of that. He always started with Shook One's Part 2.
Had to.
For whatever reason, no matter what the DJ, who he was, it was always like starting off with Mobb Deep. But in that regular set, we was hearing a lot of cast. Bombs of Baghdad was playing everywhere in every club overseas. No matter where we went, we get off the plane, that's all you heard. And it was crazy. And I didn't know what they were talking about. Like, don't put that thing out, let's ready to bang. Bombs. I'm like, what is he talking about? I don't even know. I don't even know what that means. But they were going crazy over it, man.
Because you gotta be fair, bro. You got because Ghostface done said a lot of shit. You ain't know what it means either, but you were saying it was dope.
Act like I did when he said I want 8 ravioli bass. I'm like, yeah, I think I can put that together.
Meant, though.
I know it, right. I can piece that together. But when he said, you don't put that thing out unless you're ready to bang, Bombs over bad. I didn't even know bounce of a bat. What are you talking about? I didn't even know what it meant. So I still, to this day, I still don't know what it means. I don't know what it means. And I was fighting for Baghdad, so I don't even know what, what's going on. But the point is, people they didn't care about that. They cared about the sonics because it was something. It, like I told you before, we talked about it behind the scenes. You can judge music in its reach based on how it rang off in a club, in places like that, because you're getting everybody. There were songs that I could not stand coming up. But again, you're overseas, you're in a different state, you're in a different coast, and they play some of these songs in the club. I'm like, it's not too bad. It's not that bad. You know, when they start playing like Master P, making say, I'm like, in the club, it don't sound that bad. But in the car, it sounded like trash. I couldn't stand it. But in the club, it was like, okay.
Different element.
I get it, different element. And I think that's what Cass was able to do. They were able to continue to transcend through the years in different environments. Whereas with Mobb Deep, it became a relic. They became relics of a sound that they helped architect in the early 90s. It's hard to transfer that energy across a country that didn't, that don't know about them being architects in New York hip hop in the golden era of hip hop.
Okay. Well, to kind of pivot that, you talked about, being over Japan, they do a New York set. So how did that translate? You're a big time Wu-Tang fan, and Wu heavily embraces like Chinese and Japanese cultures. So how did they receive Wu over there? You know what I mean? Were they a big staple in Japan?
They were, but again, you're talking about circa. I was there 2000. I got there April of 2000, and I was there for that whole year.
So that's a little Wu decline time, like Supreme and W's fire. Like, let's not get it twisted. Yeah. W's dope, yeah.
But they weren't playing W like that.
Right.
I remember them playing. I remember listening to more mystical at that time than Wu-Tang in Japan, like Danger, like. The joint with him and Pharrell. I remember that was going crazy back then.
Well, that kind of speaks to you and Coop's point, both like, at the time, because that's not in New York, but a lot of Southern music was breaking through because the quality was picking up. So it was just like a timing thing. You know what I mean? Once Wu-Tang was at the zenith and they were banned, that, to Coop's point, somebody had to fill that void, and then the Southern artists were stepping up, and then once they broke through to New York, then the Southern artists became more global, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does, because it was people wanted to dance. I think RZA even mentioned in the interview, he was like, people wanted to start, they wanted to dance, they didn't want to get the mental stimulation anymore. We were past the stimulation era. We would listen to Wu, Mobb, Nas, Big, Jay. Even Jay switched it up and had more club music because people wanted to dance when they shake a tail feather. They don't want to, they don't want to get the mental stimulation going. And I think because of that, you couple that with the resurgence or a surgence of, not really a resurgence of the South at that time, the resurgence of the South in the early 2000s, and OutKast was at the forefront of that. I don't think you get that true resurgence without OutKast pushing the boundaries.
You don't.
Straight
because
up.
I think the other side of that coin is Goody Mob, and Goody Mob never broke through on the level that OutKast did.
Correct. They were like,
and I think Goody Mob quality wise was neck and neck with OutKast at their peak.
Facts. But they still felt like to be, and I mean no disrespect.
And it's all family, you know what I mean? But yeah.
I think to me they felt like the like in Marvel, you got the big dogs, Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, they got the outer world stuff, and then you got Daredevil, Spider-Man.
They were the ground level heroes.
Ground level heroes, and that's how it felt sometimes with Goody. And I think that Goody was just as dope as Mobb. I mean, as OutKast, but it didn't have the grandioso sound that OutKast got, because again,
they didn't have Andre.
They didn't have Andre, because I was about to say that, because again, they went from Stankonia to doing the double album, Speak About Us in the Love Below. And you're talking about what, 2003 when that album came out. September 2003.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys think, you got on Speak About Some Love Below, where it was just different. I remember laughing at that album and listening to it, like literally laughing. And I was stationed in Savannah, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of my guys around me, they were a lot of them from Macon and from Savannah, some was from Atlanta. And they were like giving me the manual to understand what Speak About Some Love Below really was.
Yeah.
And I had to appreciate it from that angle.
Yeah, and I was already an OutKast fan of the first, 4 albums, but I was listening to Speakerbox a lot, but I couldn't get with the Love Below. And then it wasn't until later till, a lot of my friends in college was like, nah, man, you need to give it a chance. That album's where it's at. But it's just not, I didn't give it a fair shake because it's not what I wanted to hear from Andre. I wanted to hear Andre rap. And here we are, 22 years later, I'm still wanting Andre to rap on a solo album. And that's never going to happen. So
I think he did good on the Love Below, man. Honestly, like again,
what it was, yeah, it was a good album.
And I remember appreciating it in real time a little bit after real time, just a little bit, because again, I'm around a bunch of Southern guys. I'm stationed in Savannah, Georgia at this time. I'm 23, and I thought again it was humor to me at first, but then I started to realize like it's actually pretty dope. It's different. It was different. But again, hip hop was shifting so much.
Changing, yes.
It was like crazy, man. It was shifting like crazy. We was like that was still the 50 Cent era, like heavy, right? That's the beginning of the 50 Cent era.
Yeah, it was pretty much 04 before I came around listening to, I had heard the Love Below, don't get it twisted, but it's just like, it was like 04 before I was really embracing it like that. You know what I mean? It was damn near a year later before I like, all right, let me like really put my bias to the side and give it some fair listens. And then by that time, I'm loving the album. I was digging it by then, but it took me a year to get there. So you can't be early to the party every time. A lot of times you end up being late, and that's when I was late too.
But see, AG, you and we were talking about, even going back to Mobb Deep, it's like my Infamous versus Hell on Earth. And I was listening to both my flight today, and I was like, yo, there's not much separation between Infamous and Hell on Earth. No. And I can see why you would say that Hell on Earth was better than Infamous. But then I can see why I can say the same thing on today and tomorrow. I would feel that Infamous is better than Hell on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it depends on what you're looking for. Like I think Hell on Earth is more consistent, but the Infamous has higher highs. So if you're basing it on like the all-time, Kuso argument on here was like, where the all-time classic songs on Wu-Tang Forever. To that point, there's not that many of those on Hell on Earth either. But just how the album plays is better than, to me, better than the Infamous, even though the Infamous has higher highs. But I'm not going to jump out the window and say Forever is better than 36 Chambers. I prefer it, but I've always looked at that album kind of like it was written in Illmatic. I know objectively that Illmatic is better than It Was Written, but I prefer It Was Written because of his growth and expansion on that album. So with Wu Forever, it's the same thing. It's growth and expansion in the group and a more grandiose sound. That's why I prefer Wu Forever, although I know in my mind that 36 Chambers is superior. Same thing here. Hell on Earth is growth with Havoc's production and it's growth with Prodigy rhyme, and he's a better MC on Hell on Earth. So what my ears tell me is that this is I prefer this project over the Infamous because both of the active members are better at what they do. But the Infamous, if you're looking for all-time great classic songs in the higher highs, then I totally understand if you put that higher.
Yes. The Infamous, to me, has magical moments that we haven't seen.
Lightning in a bottle. Yeah.
Lightning in a bottle, right? So it gives you a different type of hit, type of adrenaline. Because even Havoc, you can tell Havoc was probably imitating a little bit of Nas at that time. In the way that he was coming off, because I listened to Havoc a lot this week, just because I wanted to do my my bar seminar on it.
Right.
And I wanted to listen. I'm like, man, he sound a lot like he was really trying to follow that blueprint of Nas.
Who better to follow?
Who better to follow? Whereas you could tell P became more unorthodox when he got the Hell on Earth.
Yep.
P on Infamous was rapping.
Yes.
P on Hell on Earth became unorthodox, but he was comfortable.
He's like a left-handed fighter, man. Like
yes.
P, you know.
Yes. And he was confident. He had a different confidence level when he got the Hell on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And you could think about Hell on Earth was probably made, the inception was probably what, 90, 95 going into 96, and Infamous was 93 going into 95.
Mm-hmm.
So you could tell, you could see the growth. Pause.
Nah, I think Infamous was more 94 going to 95 because 93, that would be the whole Juvenile Hell era, and they had a exponential like leap in 90, 93 going into 94,
Yeah. Double just put in the chat, he said, P stop rhyming at some point. Yeah, he did. I mean, I think that as he got, we always talk about it, when he got to HNIC, I think after Murder Music, that was P's probably, God bless the dead, that was probably P's zenith, man, on Murder Music.
I still got Hell on Earth though, but
no, I mean,
feel what you're saying.
Hell on Earth is a give me. I'm talking about like as far as like just staying on top of that lyrical mountain, because you're talking about Quiet Storm.
Yes,
where he just left Earth on Quiet Storm.
He did.
It may be the main reason why that album went platinum, because of that verse.
Yes,
to be honest, like
absolutely,
it was everywhere.
Absolutely,
everywhere. And anticipation of his solo was like shortly after that. But the thing about it is, by the time he got to HNIC, he abandoned all of that.
Yes,
he abandoned all of that,
and then it was totally gone on Infamy. Like
totally gone. I think he was distracted though. I think
he
distractions with Jay and trying to find another
his
hit.
Health.
Yeah, his health. I think by that time they were chasing a hit, because again, music was, you got Jay on one side, you got Nas on the other side with Destroy and Rebuild. That's a lot to deal with.
Yeah.
A lot to deal with. Going into
you're reaching out to 112 for a single, which is not their normal MO. So
no, totally different. Totally different. And so to your point, Double, he did. Took a step back, took a few steps back. But again, like we said, going back to the original point, man, we can close this thing up. Both came out hot red. Both groups came out on fire. And they started doing different things. They started, going different paths and trying to, find a new voice in rap and find a new rhythm in rap. And they didn't give the people what they all signed up for in the very beginning. But it benefited Cass more than it benefited Mobb.
Yes. Yeah, two of the greatest, man. Two of the greatest.
Indeed.
You want to do the press play joint and close it out?
Yeah, you can.
No doubt, man. What's homie's name again? I forgot it.
It's OutKast.
OutKast, yo, if you're watching, this is for you. I wanted to put some respect on your request, man. We appreciate you tuning in all the way from India, man. Like, out of, the three of us, I'm the biggest Eminem fan on the panel. So for the press play, I wanted to do that by honoring what my 10 favorite Eminem tracks are. This may not necessarily be a list of what is the best, but, for my fandom, this is my 10 favorite Eminem tracks for the press play. So to start it off, number 10, I'm gonna count down from 10 to 1. Number 10, I got Soldier off the Eminem show. And for me, music marks time, right? Like this is back in 2002. We're coming off of his feature on Renegade. His buzz was at an all-time high. Like, not just in, white America and the pop circles, not just white America and the pop circles, but the hip hop circles as well. Because in the year before he had the Dead Wrong feature verse. And he also had, you know, Renegade after that. So people who weren't paying attention before, you know, the real hip hop heads was like, yo, Eminem can rap. You know what I'm saying? He's like rapping next to Big, even though Big was deceased, you know, and then rapping next to Jay and that sort of thing. So I remember I was in college, and in the dorms they had like a downstairs like computer lab and resource center. And I remember one of my homies was in the resource center, and I was getting ready to jet to class. And then he had some headphones on, and he was like, yo, come here. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like about to be late for class. And then I go in the resource center, and this was when like Kaza was out, the downloading site that was real popular at the time. This was a week before the album came out, the Eminem show. He was like, yo, the Eminem leak. And I was like, word? He was like, yeah, man, come listen to this. And he was listening to the whole album, but was playing Soldier over and over, running it back. And I was like, listen to it, and everybody was going crazy. Like, yo, if this is the bag that he's going to be in on this album is about to be crazy. So that when I hear that song, it takes me back to that memory, because that was the first song I heard off the album, and we just kept running it back, like going crazy. And I never did go to class for the record. We just stayed in the, you know what I'm saying, the library, in the computer lab, and listened to the album that leaked out, downloaded it off Kaza. So that's my number 10 track. Number 9, Guilty Conscious, with featuring Dr. Dre off the Slim Shady LP. I mean, what can I say? That was my buy-in to Eminem as a rapper. Like I said, I wasn't with the whole "my name is" gimmick and all that. But, you know, once I heard Guilty Conscious and saw the video for it, him and Drake going back and forth and the whole concept and everything, I was like, dude, this for real. He's like, you know, a super dope rapper. So I've always, you know, had that in my top 10 Eminem songs. Number 8, I got Say What You Say, also off the Eminem show. That, when we talk about diss tracks, that song is not talked about enough, because Eminem is going at Cannabis, and Dr. Dre's going at Jermaine Dupri, oddly enough, on that record. And I think it's a hard diss track. Nobody wants to hear producers battle, but you know, it is what it is. But I thought that was one of the standout records on that album, and I think the beat's hard. So Say What You Say has always been one of my favorite Eminem songs, and you know, M was going at Cannabis, so I think he got that one. But Cannabis was like, you know, overseas in the military or something around that time, so he ain't really had time to respond.
Yeah.
But number 7, I have Superman, also off the Eminem show. Superman is crazy because, you know, the common narrative now on Twitter is nobody plays Eminem in the hood or whatever, you know. But even back then, Eminem didn't have a quote unquote club banger per se, right? So this was the first joint that he came with that was really circulating and popping in the clubs, you know, in the like black music clubs. And I just love the record, man. It's like catchy and just everything about it. That was his first real certified, like, you know, club banger and joint that got a whole lot of, you know, good spin on black radio. So love Superman. That's my number 7. Number 6, I got 3 AM from the Relapse album. Nothing more to say about this than his flow pattern, cadence, word like that he's putting together, rhyme schemes is just insane on this record. And like a lot of people didn't like the accents that he was using, like he was, you know, playing a part or a role or whatever on this album. But when he was in a flow pocket like this, I kind of looked past that and didn't care, man. 3 AM, he's going insane, you know, talking about being, you know, a murderer who escaped the psych ward on that track. So it's a dope joint. Number 5, I got The Way I Am. This is from the Marshall Mathers LP. And, you know, I this is the record that really let me know that Eminem was ahead. You know what I'm saying? Taking a Rakim bar, you know, from as the rhyme goes on, I'm the R, the A to the K I am. And if it wasn't, then why would I say I am? Like him taking that and formatting that to his hook on The Way I Am, I was like, yo, he's really a student of the culture. You know what I mean? He's like, you know, taking stuff from one of our greats and crafting it into a dope song. And the flow pattern that he used in that, and then the cadence was was just sick, man. That's one of his most iconic songs, and I have that number 5 on my list. Number 4 is Stan, also off the Marshall Mathers LP. Stan is one of the best storytelling tracks ever in hip hop history, point blank, period. And I think that song is like timeless, and it's Eminem's, claim to fame. I think that arguably could be his best song at the end of the day. But as far as favorites, it's number 4 on my list. But it's the writing on there is impeccable, the way he tells that story. So yeah, number 3, I got Lose Yourself. Lose Yourself, big anthemic song. It was perfect for the Super Bowl when Eminem was up there with Dr. Dre. Just a huge record that encapsulates that feeling of being an MC, like, because between me, Sean, and Coop, we've all attempted rapping at some point. You know what I mean? And when you're on stage and you got to deliver those rhymes in front of people, this song really captures the essence of that moment, the like stage fright, the nerves, and everything about that. And just writing from that perspective is not something that really anybody has wrote from before, because rap is real braggadocio. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a lot of people are not going to tell that side of it. And granted, it's for a movie, so it's kind of describing the emotions he was feeling in the movie, but it's a lot of truth to the song as well. You know what I mean? Exposing that vulnerability of, the nerves and stage fright when you go up in front of people. Because, I know I felt that the first time I performed in front of people. So this captures that moment, and it's real motivational. Number 2, I got Till I Collapse off the Eminem Show. This is my 4th record I got in my top 10 off the Eminem Show. As you can tell, that's my favorite Eminem album. Love that album. I think it's a classic. But Till I Collapse, Nate Dogg feature. Rest in peace to Nate Dogg. This song just bangs, man. This song goes, and Eminem's rapping like a demon, like going crazy on here. This infamously is the song where he names his top 10 rappers and puts himself in the ranking with those rappers. And I just think this is one of his best bar seminars, if you will. You know what I mean? As far as like his bar work on the record. And it gets you hyped. If you go work out in the gym, this is a song that needs to be in your gym playlist. For real. You might throw up some extra weight. Yo, shout out to Iron Myers, bro. Bro said in our Discord he was curling like 185-pound dumbbells. Like, that's insane.
He be lying. Iron Myers be lying. Iron Myers be lying.
Yeah. Nah, man. I seen bro's profile pic, bro. Like, it's just...
Oh, hey, yo.
I mean, I said that Discord, bro. Like, dude, you know what I'm saying? He curled into 185. Yo, I'm gonna hire him. When we blow up, I'm gonna hire him as my bodyguard. You know what I'm saying?
Relax on that. Watching the man profile pic on. Relax on that. I get
this nigga, man.
You gotta stop at the curl thing.
Yo, shout out to Iran, man.
No, shout out to Iran for real.
Yeah. One of the family members in our Discord, man. Good dude. Number 1. My favorite Eminem song of all time is Rabbit Run. I actually hear Coop reference this song a lot too. I don't know if it's his favorite, but he references a lot. The way Eminem is rapping on this song is insane, man. Like, and once again, he's capturing that emotion of being a rapper and having writer's block. You know what I mean? Trying to really craft a song, and then writer's block is getting in your way and you trying to fight through that, and he's describing that in real time. And I love this record. And even ironically, Nas's Book of Rhymes song off Godson was out around this same time, so it was kind of, those two songs were two sides of the same coin. You know what I mean? And I just love this song, the way he's rapping on here, and what, he even has the added effects, like crumbling up the paper when it's not good enough, throwing it away, like, the sound effects in there. It's just really dope, man. And to me, this is Eminem's magnum opus song for me, is Rabbit Run. So that's my press play. Shout out to homie from India that wanted us to talk about Eminem a little bit more, so it's my pleasure to do that. Eminem is just outside of my top 5. He's 6 on my all-time list. So thought it would just be appropriate to wax poetic about Eminem, you know what I'm saying, for our international fan.
No doubt, no doubt. And yo, again, shout out to homie, man. We do get some fan mail from time to time, whether it's on our email or whether it's via the Apple. So thank you guys for who download us on Apple, who download us on Spotify as well. We appreciate that love and support. Shout out to the Discord, the dopest Discord out there in the hip hop universe. They keep it going throughout the entire day. They're talking about hip hop. Stop. Like sometimes it gets crazy.
Y'all be killing me at work, man.
It's over. Man, I can't even keep up. But they talk about everything from hip hop, movies, whatever, life, everything. So shout out to those guys. Shout out to the homie Trife Diesel, Trife Boogie.
Trife the engineer.
The engineer, you know, Trife don't like Eminem, so he wasn't a fan of this segment, so he probably logged off as I wanted to. So but shout out to Trife. I wanted to log off too, I ain't gonna lie. But yeah. Shout out to Elp, man. LP. LP is Queens Get the Money. We got some real thorough heads, man. We got some real thorough ones in the Discord that we converse with even on the side. And LP is definitely one of those, man. We talk a lot and we talk about life and hip hop a lot. Really thorough dude, man. Really thorough dude. Shout out to LB. LB was sick. Normally LB is in the chat causing hell. But LB is trying to get over, you know, some sniffles. So shout out to LB. Always support the crew.
Get well soon, LB.
Absolutely. Shout out to the Jackrin. The Jackrin. Shout out to the Jackrin. The wow man.
Man. Shout out, Jack.
I see you try. My bad. I thought you blanked out on the Eminem joint. Try my bad. Because I wanted to. I actually was thinking about something. I was rhyming in my head. I was actually coming up.
Man, that's crazy disrespectful.
Yeah, my bad. Shout out to CLF, always popping up in the chat. You know what I mean? Shout out to Double. Double is crazy. Double is a crazy dude. But I got
Double's international. He's out in Australia, man. Shout out to Double.
Australia Double. Shout out to Australia. And shout out to Double. Yo, shout out to our executive producer, man. Shout out to Andrew. Andrew behind the scenes doing a lot. Visuals. And just honestly, Andrew is like the glue to the crew. You know what I mean? You know, the three of us, we wild, man. We wild barbarians out here. You know, we have strong opinions, strong thoughts, passionate opinions. But it's all brotherly love. You know what I mean? Shout out to Coop. We'll get him back. He all right. He good. That's what we do.
My bad, Coop. My bad.
Yeah, AG is a prick. I deal with all the time.
I saw where you said that in the Discord earlier today.
Yeah, you are, man. You go too far. I told you that earlier. I'm like, dude, I'm working. I'm on a flight and you talking crazy. I'm like, yo, dude, been talking crazy to me all day. You know, I don't know, man.
I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm not gonna refute that right now.
Thank you. We need therapy. Shout out to LT, 8 a.m. Exposure.
Shout out to LT.
We're gonna drop an actual promo tonight with regards to Benny and his team BSL. So shout out to those guys as well. You guys will see that on the socials tonight. We got some stuff cooking. We got some more things coming up. We appreciate y'all hopping on tonight. You could be anywhere, but you can rock with us. We have some good viewership on a great Thursday night. We're going to start curating some more things. Don't forget to check out Mirror Music. They had a phenomenal show on Tuesday night. And if you guys get a chance, go back and take a look at that. I'll drop the link in the Discord again. If you haven't dropped out in our Discord, follow us on Twitter, follow us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, and definitely jump in our Discord. We release a lot of information in there as well. We talk to the people. We talk about hip hop. It's a strong community over there. And love is love. AG, anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Yeah.
Shout out to Mad Max. Shout out to Crazy Mad Max. Shout out to Crazy.
Yeah, shout out to Max. Rest in peace to Roberta Flack and Miss Wallace, mother of the legendary Notorious B.I.G. Christopher Wallace. Rest in peace to those lovely ladies. So,
Beyond Above Media, no, the Discord does not cost a thing. It is free. I would drop the link in here real quick. And before we log off so you guys can get access to the Discord. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Let me log in this other way, and I get it to you guys.
It's the place to be, man. Our Discord group's always popping, man. Funny conversations, insightful hip hop combos, everything's in there.
Give me 1 second. Let me put it in. AG, what you got for the people before we get out of here?
Yeah, man, that's it, man. Just rest in peace to the lovely ladies, Miss Wallace and Roberta Flack, man. It was sad news to hear those ladies go, you know, but we send them a rest in peace. It's kind of somber. We have every show that we have, more often than not, we're saying rest in peace to, somebody in our Black culture and music, or, somebody important, for us. So hopefully we can have a streak of shows where we don't have to do that at the end to pay our respects.
Lost Gene Hackman. Freak
I just saw that. Yeah.
Him and his family, man. Him and his wife and his dog, man. That's sad times, man. Sad
Definitely
times.
Is.
But again, we appreciate y'all to come under the hip hop umbrella with us and rocking with Hip Hop Talks. We'll see y'all soon. And shout out to everybody. Shout out to all the podcasts, everybody out there, whether it's a large podcast, small podcast. Shout out to everybody. Competition breeds champions. Let's get it. We out.
Peace.
Peace.